Hello. Two African documentary feature films are up for an Oscar tonight. It is the first time African stories are getting this kind of spotlight. Director of Four Daughters, Kauda Ben Hani, and co-director of Bobby Wine, The People's President, Moses Bawo, hope to highlight African cinema on the big screen at the Oscars. In another brazen kidnapping, almost 10 years after Chibok, dozens of bandits on motorcycles stormed a school morning assembly in Kuriga, Kaduna State, and kidnapped over 280 Nigerian school pupils. The students were between the ages of 8 and 15. The bandits have abducted thousands of people in recent years, but this attack on a school and abduction of children is a first in over a year. While no further information has been heard from the kidnappers, typically those kidnapped are freed after a ransom is paid. The state governor, Uba Sani, told the BBC that 187 students were taken from a secondary school, while 125 were taken from a primary school. Out of that number, 25 had since returned. He vowed that no child would be left behind. One of the kids shot by the gunmen, a 14-year-old boy, died in a local hospital where he was receiving treatment. President Bola Tinubu has directed security agencies to rescue the victims. He said his government will punish the perpetrators. According to a teacher who managed to escape, local people tried to rescue the children but were repelled by the gunmen. One person died in the shootout. One boy who escaped reported that the students were in bad shape and lacked food and water, among other necessities. It is 5:30 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, 12:30 p.m. in New York City, 4:30 p.m. in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, and 7:30 p.m. in Nairobi, Kenya. Wherever you are joining us, welcome to another episode of 90 Minutes Africa. My name is Rudolf Okonkwo. My co-host, Chido Onoma, is on assignment. On our show today is a veteran actor, lawyer, and media personality. Here is the profile.
He did business administration at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, but the acting bug he got during school plays made him famous. He has appeared in hundreds of Nollywood movies and represented the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, at the Presidential Election Tribunal. His voice is so distinct, his life so rich, and his interests so vast that he stole many worlds like a colossus. Kenneth Okonkwo is a man of many talents. He has danced on the entertainment stage and waltzed through the halls of politics with equal flair. Following his siblings' footsteps, Kenneth studied international law and diplomacy at the University of Lagos. As a lawyer, he is also carving his name in gold. As an icing on the cake, Kenneth studied theology at the Nigerian Bible School. Starting as a charming actor, Kenneth Okonkwo stole the hearts of many and lit up screens with his infectious charisma and versatility when he played the role of Andy Okeke in what industry experts called Nollywood's first blockbuster, Living in Bondage. The movie was released in 1992 with a sequel the following year. He would star in many more Nollywood classics such as Arusiyi, Oganigwe, World Apart, and many others. In 2013, the Africa Movie Academy Award honored him with a special recognition of Pillars of Nollywood. The City People Entertainment Awards organizers also honored him for contributing to the growth of entertainment in Nigeria. Kenneth Okonkwo is a member of the Order of the Federal Republic. Kenneth's ambitions didn't stop with being an actor. Driven to make a real difference, he jumped into the political arena, aiming to shake things up and bring much-needed change. His journey hit a crescendo in 2018 when he ran for governorship in his Enugu State under the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress (APC), rallying folks with promises of progress and hope. Although he lost to the incumbent, the Nollywood legend solidified his position as a politician. He resigned from the party in 2022, citing the Muslim ticket of the party as his angst. Soon after, he joined the Labour Party and was named a spokesperson for the Obidati presidential campaign. During campaign seasons, Kenneth wasn't just another face in the crowd. He drew applause whenever he hit the podium with his voice and charisma, rallying support with his passion and persuasive charm.
That will take you from a developing nation to a developed nation, from a third-class nation to a first-class nation. Is that not the man you want? Give me Obi! Give me Obi!
Not known to be one to mince words, he is steadily calling out the current government slip-ups whenever he sees them.
Why did you punish all the northern states? This is the most anti-people government I've ever seen in my life. But I have one joy. That we are not brought in by the Nigerian people.
Kenneth Okonkwo is married to Ifeoma, a woman his mother handpicked for him because she possessed the qualities that would bring tranquility to his life. He has 2 boys, one from his previous marriage. Kenneth Okonkwo writes a weekly column for the Sunday Sun newspaper called Global Square. For a man who has spent the last 3 decades performing on the global stage, nothing is more befitting. You don't win when you don't have the zeal or spirit of winning, he said. Kenneth is a winner, not just because he has the zeal, but also because the spirit of winning abides in him.
All right, please join me as we welcome to the show Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo. Dr. Barrister, I forgot to mention doctor. Where is our guest?
Well, yes, it's unfortunate, you know. They just did the Nigerian thing and took our life. Just give me a minute.
All right. We'll get that settled, and we'll bring back our guest. In the meantime, let me give you a little bit more of guest in action.
From the incompetence and dishonesty of leaders, not from the complicity of the people. Now, let me start by saying, so that you do not misinterpret me as ever supporting anything about oil fuel subsidy. If there is anything that irritates me to my bones, is the issue of subsidy. I wouldn't have voted for anybody who said he was going to maintain oil subsidy. And I'm very serious about that. What is the wisdom in an oil producing country paying more than 7 trillion to foreign countries to refine your oil and send it back to you? You paying their shipping line, you building their refineries abroad, when you have your 4 refineries already built.
So you support his move then?
No, listen to me.
Right.
I am saying that I hate everything about oil subsidy.
So our guest is back, Barrister Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I hope it's bright enough.
Yes. It's an honor to have you here, and we appreciate all you've done for the country and your career. So let me start by getting your view on the kidnapping that just happened in Nigeria. Where did you hear about that, and what did you think the first time you heard about the kidnapping of students in Kaduna?
Well, let me first of all commiserate with the families that lost their dear ones in what has become a recurrent decimal of complacency from the ruling class and complicity of some of the undesirable elements in our midst. It is obvious that there is no way such an obnoxious kidnap of such a large scale will operate in any society without the complicity of some undesirable elements amongst us. But then the complacency, the incompetence, the corruption of the ruling class aiding and abetting such complicity. So the issue here is that to go to a school in an environment that is already insecure, to marshal out kids up to hundreds, and there was no confrontation by the security agencies for such number of hours until the marauders just headed the children into their destination is really deplorable. It is a sign of a decayed society and a sign of a failing state. It is obvious that the primary responsibility of government, which is the security and welfare of the people, is not in the agenda of this government and has never been in the agenda of APC government. So it is quite unfortunate. I do not believe by any stretch of imagination that such level of impunity can be done without confrontation of the security agencies, and nobody within 48 hours is called to take responsibility and to be sanctioned for such lapse, obvious lapse. So you can see how the government has failed, because it is their duty. And come to think of it, you have a government that will not allow people to bear arms. You have a government that will not even speedily authorize state police. You have a government that is having monopoly of force. And yet, the government cannot use that monopoly of force to defend the people. So what it means is that you're tying the hands of the people at their back, and you're just allowing the bandits, terrorists, kidnappers to be hacking down, taking advantage of innocent people. And when they take them in, you will not bring money to bring them out. You start citing laws that it is illegal to pay money to them. And their people will be compelled in this harsh economic atmosphere to still run around to raise money to bring out their people. In this modern time, you're still purchasing your people, buying and selling them like slaves, while they are burrowing in the forest like animals. And some people are still purporting to be in charge of the government. No, I'm sorry to say it, but this is the greatest display of clownishness in power, because you're seeing your people dying. You're seeing your people being dehumanized, degraded, depraved, and there is nothing that you are doing about it. So it's a shame.
Now, we can agree that the government is failing, but what should the people do, in your view? What should we do?
That is what I said. You have tied the hands of the people to their back. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe said it's only a madman that will confront a man with a gun. The people are helpless. The people are hopeless. They don't have a gun. If you're caught with a gun, they will be fast to take you to court, possession of illegal firearms. Yet they cannot secure your life from the mad people that have the guns. There is nothing the people can do. Why do you think you have a lot of Africans in church? Because they are hopeless. What will you do? Use your bare hands to go and confront people with surface-to-air missiles that they can even bring down planes? There is nothing the people can do except to pray, and then to wish that one way or the other God give them good leadership, and then to wish that there will never be technical glitch again, that will glitch elections, that will enthrone people who they don't want.
I asked this question yesterday on a different show. If this were happening in Lagos or Enugu or Edo, Benin City, would the reaction be the same? Would people just feel helpless?
So what you're thinking is that it's not happening in those days. It is. The only difference,
kidnapping of school children.
It is. The only difference is that because there are no bushes in Lagos, it will be difficult for you to come to a school and marshal kids to the bushes because you can't find any. So you would have a lot of obstructions. But in terms of individual criminal activities that still disable and disarm people from going about their duties, it is still very high. Criminality is still very high in every part of Nigeria. Haven't you heard about Ikorodu boys? Haven't you heard about this cult group? This and that. Still killing and maiming people. In addition to the people that commit suicide because of hopelessness of the economy.
Now, one of the common narrative out there is that people will say if Peter B were to be the president at this point, that he wouldn't do anything different. Do you agree? What would be the difference Peter would do?
You judge a man by his antecedent. When Peter B was the Anambra State governor, the Inspector General of Police confessed to the whole world that there was not one single successful bank robbery in his state. He inherited the most terrible state in the whole Nigeria. As a matter of fact, the governor before him, Chinwoke Mbadunuju, was the only governor that was denied second term because of maladministration. Anambra State was coming last in WAEC and in JAM. And when Peter Obi came in, within 2 years, they started coming first. Anambra State, children were not going to school. When Peter Obi came in, people started going to school. When Peter Obi came in, kidnappers were building their nests and tents in Anambra State. Before Peter Obi came in. When Peter Obi came in, all the kidnappers ran away, including Evans. Guess where Evans found refuge? In the state of the incumbent president. He doesn't just know anything about security. And he was living among the elites as a billionaire. And he ran away from Anambra State and he confessed that it was because of Obi's security arrangement. Like I told you, it was the Inspector General of Police that certified him the best governor in terms of security. He established vigilante security system that was taking care of the communities and gave innocent Hilux car to every of the communities vigilante that he established. Look, Peter Obi is incomparable, my friend. When you want to compare him, try to compare him with established countries outside Nigeria. In Nigeria, he's incomparable. Why would you be comparing gold with carrots? It's becoming an insult. Just check the gap. I've always said it. He's not an alternative option. He's the only option. And I stand to be corrected. If a man should take a state from coming last in school and start coming first, look at the gap. The worst secured state to the best secured state. Look at the gap. So if he takes the country, he would take the country from the worst consuming nation on earth to the best producing nation on earth. If he takes the country, he would take the country from the worst secured country to the best secured country. He has done it before, he would do it again. I think it's becoming increasingly insulting to compare Peter Obi with these, do you call them leaders? I don't know the best word to use. No, how can you be an oil producing nation, almost the sixth largest producing nation on earth, and you're importing 100% of your refined crude? Do you want me to call them leaders? I think, honestly, I don't know what to call them, but to call them leaders, I'm sorry. I think they are part of the bandits and part of the terrorists that is terrorizing us. That's just the truth.
Now, some APC members, they've called on opposition members to give them ideas. That if you have idea that will work for this government, for the country, give us the idea. Let's implement that idea. So if they come to you and say, give us an idea on how to deal with this kidnapping of kids and how to rescue them, what will you give them?
You know, there are certain things I wouldn't say publicly because, you know, I was in APC. Good. I gave them ideas. Even this current government, I'm a columnist. I write my column every week. And I don't just criticize. I recommend solutions. When this government removed ill-advisedly their subsidy, I called them to reverse it that same day. I think you played even some of the clips. Good. Did they reverse it? No, it's a government that even if you tell them what will save them, as long as it's not giving them that money that they will use to be living loose life all over the world, they will not accept it. It's the most anti-people government on earth. I told them, reverse this policy immediately, because you don't have the environment and the foundation that will secure your economy. If you leave, take away the subsidy, I said you will destroy your economy. And you know what? I told people, and I know these people, they will not listen to me. And they did not listen. Do you know the fallout of it? They are paying more in subsidy today than they were paying then. Yet, they have punished the people with paying 600, almost 700 naira per liter of subsidy. And they inherited 195 naira per liter. How is it sustainable? It is not sustainable because the economy did not plan for such a leap. And then you are importing this product 100%. This is the greatest destroyer of your foreign exchange. So why would you want to start giving palliative to people when you have palliative already that will help your economy and help the people, which is the subsidy? Why take it out when you are still buying your 100% crude? Why devalue your naira when the only thing you do is import? Now, advanced countries devalue their naira or currency when they are exporters, so that they will make their own product cheaper and make it more attractive for people abroad to buy. Then you that imports everything, you're devaluing your currency. I don't know the economic textbooks these people read. So why will you devalue it? What is the attraction? You're now making people now, when they have $1, they will buy up everything you have, meaning that oil subsidy you have increased because your currency has become so weak. It will still now be cheaper again in the surrounding countries because their currency is now more powerful than your own. And that thing you said you want to stop, which is smuggling of the goods, will resume. So these leaders, as far as I'm concerned, not just that they are dishing out very funny policies, they are not going to change because they don't know it. They don't have the knowledge. Okay, you said people are doing BDC and you don't like it. And then the best thing is for you to come down to start competing with them. The CBN devalued their own currency from about 700 and something naira or 500 or something like that to 1,500. And now you're chasing the BDC, chasing them all over the place. You know, a bad workman quarrels with his tools. What do you do to show up your currency? Very easy. What is destroying your currency? You are importing more than you're exporting. So change it. Start exporting more than you are importing. And you have all it takes. You have your 4 refineries doing nothing, lying comatose. They told you that your refinery will work by December. And how deceitful this government is. By December, maybe they went to the villages and collected fossil fuel. And they put light in it. And smoke started coming up. And they told Nigerians, you see, it is mechanically finished. That it will be by January they will start. Now we are in March. Has it started? You look, when you have a government that is not performing and is not honest and does not listen to idea, there is nothing that you can do except to know that they will fail. Look at the expatriate employment levy. Can you imagine embarking on such policy without even consulting the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria? Can you imagine? I told them you don't dictate economic problems out of existence. You have to plan for it. You have to organize for it. You have to direct people to do it. Then you have to control it. You don't sit down and say fuel subsidy is gone. You don't sit down and say sanctions against the Niger Republic. You don't sit down and say dual exchange rate gone. You don't sit down and say expatriate employment levy installed. No. There is what we call multiplier effect. When you are doing such a thing, it has multiplier effect either positively or negatively to the economy. Now the economy is distressed. So what you should be doing is incentives for businesses to survive, not disincentive for businesses to die. That's what they're doing. Everything they touch dies. Everything. No. Except Nigeria. Nigeria will not die by the grace of God.
Now, under Jonathan, the same people who are running this administration protested against the removal of subsidy. And they mentioned what will happen if that had happened that period. And those things are happening now under them. Are you saying that they don't know that this will happen? Because they sound that way. They give the people the reason to believe that they were surprised that this was the outcome of what they were doing. Is it that they don't know that people like the central bank governor and the Minister for Finance, that they are totally ignorant of what is going to happen with these policies, or that they wanted it to happen and they are now promising Nigerians that good days are coming? Do you believe them?
The truth is that they don't know anything. They just don't know anything. So when you say that one, you begin to imagine as if they know some and they don't know some. They don't know anything. Look at the security. They are still taking our citizens in hundreds, children, in a school. It's not a novel thing. It has lasted for more than 10 years. The Boko Haram aspect of terrorism started in Nigeria in 2009. That's 15 years. So these things are predictable. So it's not rocket science anymore. Yet they cannot stop it. So what do they know? That's security. Now, economics. You want to tell me, then how did I know that when you remove it, your economy will collapse? How did I know? I knew it because when you go to farm to plant a seed, there is a gestation period before it starts yielding fruit. What will you be eating between the time of planting and the time of harvest? It's not rocket science. So if you remove subsidy and the economy is distressed, what will be holding the economy before the benefit that you intended, removing that subsidy? What will be holding it before it starts yielding fruit? Nothing. Nothing. Now, if you have diversified your economy, that you're not depending on oil alone, you will now say, I will use these exports to hold the economy. But you don't have it. So what happened is that the first 2-3 months, like I told them, all the savings Nigerians had, they will use it to invest in oil, saying, okay, let's have patience, let's have patience. Now, after like that 6 months, and they have exhausted their savings, and it's not yielding any fruit. That is why they are running around, ransacking every warehouse, ransacking any truck on their way, because they are hungry. And a hungry man is an angry man. So this government has run out of ideas. If I were in their shoes, and immediately they did not listen to me not to remove subsidy. Immediately they did not listen to me not to damage Naira. I told them to resign because I knew they were not going to survive. Liz Truss of UK resigned after 45 days in office because of love of country. She genuinely thought that her policies was going to be pro-people, reducing tax, this and that. But when it did not happen, she fired the finance minister, which they call the exchequer. It did not work. And within 45 days, she threw in the towel. The truth is that this government should contemplate and consider throwing in the towel. They have failed. And the only thing they can achieve more is failing more.
But we know they won't resign. And we know that hardship will continue. So what do you expect? What are we expecting in the next few months and weeks?
What you're expecting is that people are going to be more hungry. They are going to be more radical. They are going to be more restless. They are going to be more revolutionary. And when these things do happen, God help us. Because when they are taking 280-something persons into the bush and they're asking for money and the people do not have money to pay, you must have heard about the Nabiha family, a man with lovely girls, beautiful, brilliant girl. The man couldn't pay and they killed the daughter before help started coming from outside. But that girl will never come back again. So these are all signs of a failed state, and it's unfortunate.
What about the political class? What are you, your class, what are they doing? The opposition parties, what are they doing in light of what's going on? Are they waiting for what?
Well, immediately after any election, you and I know that you start talking about policies and not politics. And I do not play politics with policies. So what we're talking now is policies. We all knew what happened in Nigeria in 2023. How the election was technically glitched and how it was unapologetically manipulated to proclaim a preferred candidate. And we are paying the price for it. So the opposition is doing what I'm doing now, constructively criticizing and providing solution to a government that has proved that it doesn't listen. You know what this government is doing? They are using Nigeria as an experimental ground, trial and error. They try this, it doesn't work. They'll try that, it doesn't work. And of course, in a distressed economy, nothing works that is a guesswork. Why do you think that profits are booming? Because there's nothing that is working by facts, by figures, by statistics, by business forecasting, by business management, by public administration. Nothing. So nature does not exist in a vacuum. So they'll prefer to listen to a prophet. At least do give them hope. I prophesy to you that tomorrow rice will be 1 naira. Amen. They'll tell you to believe. Because there is nothing else that you're seeing. So it may sound foolish, but at least it will give the person hope till tomorrow. And if it doesn't happen, they will tell you the secret things belong to God. Only the things that are revealed belong to man. That God may have changed his mind between today and that tomorrow. You know, it's ridiculous. But that's why when you go to church, you see a lot of people. Not because it's because they're hopeless.
Now, I know that Labour Party is a minor party in Nigeria, especially in the National Assembly. But together, the opposition party could push the country in a certain direction. Why is that not happening? We're hearing stories about padding of the budget at the Senate, and the people who are in opposition, what are they doing? How are they fighting back? Even if they don't win, but at least the people to know.
Good. First of all, I quarrel with your assertion that Labour Party is a minor party. We're just coming from an election in 2023, and no presidential candidate won more states than Labour Party. They shared it 12, 12, 12, and 1 for NMP. And I'm talking about the presidential election. So if that is your definition of being minor.
No, I'm talking about the National Assembly, because I talked to Labour Party members, and
now,
they say that
I'll prefer you to use the word opposition.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to use the word minor.
Okay.
Yes, Labour Party is the first political force in Nigeria today. That's why people will prefer to listen to an Obi to listening to any other person, because he is the main political giant in Nigeria and in Africa. If you remember what happened when he went to Ghana. So classifying such a force as minor is false in itself. So Labour Party for now is the main political party in Nigeria. So, but in the National Assembly, we are in the opposition. Have you ever heard in the history of Nigeria where any political party and a political candidate defeated the incumbent in his own state? Labour Party did it. So I would respectfully want you, have you ever heard in Nigeria where an incumbent political party did not make up to 25% in the Federal Capital Territory? Labour Party achieved that. So I would want you to respectfully withdraw that accolade or that that name minor. Sorry.
All right. That's not a problem. What I was trying to
now, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Coming to the National Assembly. Now, even though people come into National Assembly on party basis, but they talk on individual basis. So a party may have a limitation to what it can do with its members. You will agree with me that Labour Party members in the National Assembly, we are marked for extinction. And I give you an example. I remember in the Senate, the minority leader then was a Labour Party person. And I remember how he gave them water, even when they were trying to approve the ministerial list. You remember how he gave the Minister of Aviation solid water. And they went and ambushed him at the Court of Appeal. And from nowhere they said he is not qualified again to be there. So I believe that initially, and I'm not trying to hold brief for them, because personally I wouldn't have told that line. But I understand. I believe that initially some of them, and some of them were actually new in that terrain, especially in the House of Representatives. I think they were trying to be cautious so that all the legal issues will be concluded. So I am not fully in support of certain things that they did, but I understand why they were doing it. Because you have to be a fighter, and if you perish, you perish. You don't have to, because of self-preservation, not come out to fight from the one for what you believe in. So that reminds me, when you were introducing me, you said I contested for the governorship and lost. Sorry, I aspired and eventually did not contest at all. So I did not lose. Then again, you said I have OFR or something.
MF.
Good. No, I don't. I have not collected any honor or any honorary title from any government in Nigeria.
Somewhere in your bio. Okay, someone. Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to, put that, in perspective, But
right.
your bio was reasonably, correct.
All right.
Plus or minus. So Labour Party, I want you to assess Labour Party by what the real symbols, which is P2P, which are the spokespersons, the symbols of Labour Party before they are elected into power. Because I know how our elected representatives emerged. Because we didn't have time before we entered the Labour Party, between the time we entered and the election. So National Assembly, some of them are doing their best, but their best is not good enough. So I agree with you. They have to, rise up.
Now, the premise of that question was that I interviewed Senator Barrister, months ago. And there was a situation where I said to him, what is the opposition doing? Why can't the opposition party in the National Assembly come together? Because they share this position, come together and push for that. Even though they are not majority, if they say that nothing will happen until this is addressed, that it will be addressed. So I wanted to know if the Labour Party is working with other political parties in the opposition to be able to have that kind of influence. Otherwise, it will be a free way for the ruling party to do whatever they wanted to do, including padding the budget.
Yes, it is because the opposition party has the unfortunacy of having a party like PDP to be pretending that they are still in opposition when they are in the same bed with the APC. As you can see, there's no difference between APC and PDP. So what they are doing now, the strategy, especially in the Senate, is using those PDP compromised pawns in their hands to pretend that they are the opposition leaders, and all of them are hand in glove. In the House, the minority leader is a known protege of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, who is now an APC minister, but he is still saying he's a PDP member. I don't have any word to describe such a figure. He said he's a PDP member. He's an APC minister. So you can imagine his protege is the minority leader in the House of Rep. And when they removed the Labour Party minority leader in the Senate, they replaced him with another PDP pawn. So the opposition now, the only opposition you see in the House Senate is Labour. Then how many are they? That's why anything they bring, they approve before even reading the words. They approved members of the INEC, even when they were proved card-carrying member of a political party. They approved. Take a bow, take a bow, take a bow. So there is no opposition now in the National Assembly, unfortunately. And like I said, it's not because of Labour. It's because there is a party that is called PDP that in all forms, in all shape, they are APC members in the National Assembly. So there is no opposition in the National Assembly.
Are there some situations where you feel that the Nigerian people can do more to serve themselves, but they are not? Because it appears as if the elite can't do anything, the opposition cannot do anything. And what about the people? Do you feel sometimes there are things they could do to help change this story?
Well, the honest truth here is that the people, when they are taken to this extreme, like I said, they hand over to God and anything can happen. Whatever is going to happen might happen impromptu. So the people should and will eventually take destiny into their hands. But there is no human being except God that can ever tell you how it will happen. Because they are not an organized, centralized force, like the NSAS kind of a thing. So it will just evolve, steered up by maybe hunger and anger. But I know that the illegitimacy, the incompetence, and the corruption of a regime cannot last forever. there will be a terminal end to anything that is poisonous. But how it will happen, I don't know. Because it's not going to be an organized thing. There might not be an organized thing in Nigeria that can bring a change. But I know that by nature, things cannot perpetually go bad. So something will happen. But I don't know what will happen.
All right. We are going to go to your career, things you've done in your life. But before that, let me just find out what you think about the situation in the Southeast. How are the political situation in the Southeast? What is your reading?
Well, you see what OT is doing. That's Labour Party. That was what we contemplated on when we were negotiating for power. Southeast is a place that ought to be number one in everything that they are doing, because they are men of craft, they are men of academics, they are men of industry, they are resilient, they have seen suffering. So hunger does not mean anything to them. They can survive in any atmosphere. So they are loaded. So Southeast should be and ought to be number one in everything. So, but Southeast is also bedeviled with the leadership problem, because they are not existing in a vacuum. You can imagine a governor from the Southeast was the person that came out to tell the world that Southeast cannot be president. And the most competent man of capacity and character is from his own state. But he came out to write a letter that this same person trying to contest from his own state is behaving like a paid agent by some people. You can imagine a purported governor campaigning for other people that are less qualified than his own person from his own state. So Southeast also has its own problems politically. The elite class, they are behaving like people who have sold out at times. You will see some of them who will come and tell you their problem. Your problem from Southeast is from outside. I know of one of them that is going around telling people that when Shagari was around, that Shagari told them that his people overthrew him because Ekweme would have been the next president in line. I saw one Southeast man saying that. And the same person saying that was still supporting in that same year, when it was supposed to be a man from Southeast that should be president, was still supporting the same person from the same place. He was telling us that they would rather kill their own brother rather than a man from Southeast becoming president. Is that not funny? But this is the way of some of the leaders in Southeast. Don't even think that some of the Southeast elites are not part of the problem. They are. Some of them are corrupt. They are selfish. They are looking for power and relevance. So what the Southeast people should do, they should look inwards, look among themselves, and look at their best, like they brought out Obi, and continue following their best to show them the way. For the first time in Nigeria, the Southeast was recognized and respected because they brought out their best. They must find a way to shut down the worst and bring out the best. You know what? Forget this issue. There's nothing like tribalism, ethnicity, religious something in Nigeria. When you bring a man that has spirit of excellence, even if he's a slave, he will be needed in the palace, because there will be something he has that no other person has. Joseph was a slave and a prisoner, but Pharaoh had to bring him out from the jail to make him prime minister, because he said, you alone have the secret to what will save my country. I don't believe in all these. Oh, they are maltreating us because we're Igbo. Oh, tribalism. No. What have you done? How much have you cohered among yourself? If you want to acquire power in a democracy, you have to cohere among yourself and then collaborate with others. So if you don't have the cohesion, why would you blame others who will not collaborate with you? What is your bargaining power? I do not simply believe anybody is marginalizing me because of my Igbo. I am unmarginalizable. The first film we did in Nollywood, everybody enjoyed it. Why? Because they said it was good. So whether you're Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba, when you have spirit of excellence and you bring out something excellent, everybody will key into it. I'm asking my Igbo brothers, God has given you the spirit of excellence, the spirit of craft, engineering. Concentrate and be the best wherever you are. P2B is manifesting an uncanny spirit of leadership. And everybody is liking him and following him, irrespective of their religion, irrespective of their tribe and ethnicity and language. And you're there bemoaning, hey, Igbo, who told you? I have friends in the north. I have friends in the west, east. They don't joke with me, man. They just love me because, one, I'm lovable, man.
You are. Now, how do you address the people, young people who are agitating for Biafra in the Southeast? They have opposing view from what you just said. They believe exactly what you disbelieve in, that they are being oppressed and that the elite are not helping the matter. People like you are not helping them, that they have to chart their own way. What do you say to them? If you are facing them now, addressing the Biafrans, what do you say to them?
First of all, what I will say to them is that Nigeria as a country was predominantly the conception of an Igbo man. So I would rather, maybe because I am global in my reasoning, we are travelers, we are traders, and so by nature we are expansive. I would not contemplate supporting anything that will shrink us. As a matter of fact, I would want Africa to be a country and I would want the whole world to be a country. Why? The world is the only country that is big enough to accommodate the Igbo man. By nature, you are a traveler. By nature, you are a trader. So you must go out. Whether you are in Biafra or Nigeria, if you like, make the Biafra paradise, make Nigeria paradise. You will still go to Ghana in their markets and you find preponderance of Igbo people. You go to Republic of Benin, you go to Taiwan, you go to... So why would you want to shrink yourself when you can fight for a better Nigeria built on equity, justice, and fairness? I do not believe, like I said, in a smaller thing. I would rather go for a bigger thing. Everybody knows that the first Biafra was forced on us. It was not our initiative. Before 1966, the Southeast was the most peaceful place in Nigeria. And so we have no reason being part of any war in Nigeria. It was visited on us. Nzogbu, that carried out the coup, did not do it in the name of Ndibo. He was from Western Nigeria at independence and Midwestern Nigeria at the time the coup was performed. He was never from the Eastern Nigeria. But permit me to admit that his ancestry, because you have Igbos in South, good. His surname is Nzogbu. I have no business denying that his ancestry is not Igbo. He's Igbo, full-fledged. But he's a man who was born in the north. He grew up in the north, was schooled in the north, and his first name is Hausa name, Kaduna. So every part of Nigeria has the responsibility and has a claim in Nzogbu. And he did what he did in the name of Nigeria, a true Nigerian. And he was looking for not an Igbo man to take over leadership. Otherwise, he wouldn't have, it would have been Agui Ronsi would have supported the coup. But they were the ones who foiled the coup. Nzogu was detained and put in detention and was waiting for everything to cool down for him to be tried. And then when they killed Agui Ronsi, they would have stopped at that. Because if you are a military man and you come by coup and you don't know how to defend yourself, that's your problem. I don't have a problem with their killing Agui Ronsi. I don't have a problem with that. He ought to defend himself because he came by coup. But I have a problem with killing the innocent Igbos who are just trading in your streets, who are innocent people. And the reason you were killing them is because you said you want a separate country. It was not the separate country issue, was not Biafra. When the North did a counter coup, the reason is because they said they wanted to separate from the Southerners. Gowon had to be persuaded to reverse the policy. And Ojukwu never talked about declaring Biafra. They were talking about true federalism. And when they went to Aburi, they reached agreements which would have averted everything and averted the war. It was still Gowon who came back and reneged. And then the Igbo people that have been traumatized because of their being killed in the streets, what Ojukwu simply said is, well, I cannot defend you outside the place I have authority. But if you can come within this authority, I will be able to defend you. And that was how they declared Biafra. So Biafra was actually imposed on us. Now that it did not succeed, let us go back to our original intention, which is building a solid Nigeria. That was what Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe did. That is what I want to do. Building a solid Nigeria that is free of discrimination, that is free of incompetent and corrupt leaders, that will be built on equity, justice, and fairness. Not just because of other people, but because it will benefit us more. Because we are traders and we are travelers.
I have people who say that if we have someone like Oti in the 5 eastern states, that there will be reduction in the agitation for Biafra. Do you think it's true?
I want to rather say if we have good leaders in the 5 states. So what Oti is doing in Abia State is fantastic. What if we say if we have people better than Oti? So I am very happy with what he's doing. I remember when he was elected, the text message I sent to him, the first one is, "Sir, you are the only governor of the LP extraction. Whatever you do will reflect on the image of the LP in the whole world. Please, even if it is for that sake alone, try and do well." And he's doing great and should be replicated. I mean, if not that they stole our mandate in Enugu State, open robbery, maybe Enugu State would have still been the same. And look at Edo State is coming. Edo is also an LP state. They should just go Lumidakpata and begin to have the LP experience. This is what Nigeria would have been having.
So are you warming up for what will happen in Anambra State between Soludo and Val?
You know what I think? Anambra State is settled. If not that we're in Nigeria, where election comes from abracadabra, I'll tell you it's settled. Soludo, can sit at this time? I mean, what is that? If you don't believe anything good will come from your state, you should take responsibility for that and give way, because nothing good can ever come from you. So the issue of Soludo's own case, I can tell you, go in Anambra State, meet 100 persons, 99 will tell you they don't want him. As a matter of fact, if it is abroad where people follow the opinion poll, he will not even contest. He will not just go and disgrace himself. He wouldn't even have had won in the first election. But from the propaganda, propaganda, religious, ethno-religious, But this time around, all right. Soludo is gone. It's not the solution of Anambra State issue. What has he achieved? What? Tell me.
His supporters, they will point out that the roads that he...
No, he's not his supporter. He don't have any supporter. His workers.
Okay.
Because, being an incumbent government, he will have people working for the government. So I prefer you to use the word, his workers, not supporters. Who is supporting him? Are you supporting him? Your name is Okonkwo. Are you supporting him?
I'm not supporting anybody.
No, thank you for that diplomatic way of saying it. What it means that you're not supporting him. That's just what it means. You're supporting somebody, but let me not expose you. You're supporting OT.
I'm not supporting OT. I recognize he's doing something good.
If you're not supporting OT, don't let me expose you. You're not supporting OT. Why were you praying that he should be replicated?
No. I said that's what people are telling me.
Okay, that's what people are telling you. Yeah. Good, thank you. Then I put it to you. Now, what people are telling you is that they should not replicate anything in Soludo in any state, not even in his local government.
Right. Let's go to Nollywood. You've been there from the beginning for more than 30 years. How do you assess where Nollywood is today?
Nollywood is in a fantastic place today. When we started this, we were not counted as a force. Today, Nollywood is about the number 2 in the world. And you can see how in Oscars, in everything, we are being reckoned with. Nollywood has gone deeper, both in quantity and in quality. We are now shooting on the best of equipments that can be found anywhere in the world. We're doing collabos. Hollywood is coming for us, like I prayed and like I prophesied when we started Nollywood. So Nollywood is doing great, and I thank God for that.
Yeah, in America here, a lot of people, especially Africans abroad, I'm talking about Africans from the island, from all the way to Brazil, they all watch Nollywood movies. They devour it, they believe in it. What does that do to people like you who are the veterans, who are the actors? Do you feel that you're recognized all over the globe? I believe there's nowhere your face will show and people won't know who you are. Are you getting the reward?
Very well. People always make the mistake of trying to quantify reward in financial terms. Do you know what people pay to have a name recognition around the world? You won't be able to afford it. So even if that is what Nollywood has given to you, you should be grateful to that. But when you come to a level, even in Nollywood, that you are pointing out, I don't want to take this movie, I don't want to take this money, this and that, you will know that Nollywood has been very good to you. If I am looking good, if I am looking beautiful, Nollywood is the foundation. And so Nollywood can make you to have fame and fortune. It is worth it, even if it is only one that you have in these 2. But Nollywood will give you the 2. Nollywood has given me the 2. And I'm grateful to God for that choice of Nollywood that I made. It is worth it. And it will continue to be worth it.
Where do you see Nollywood in another 30 years?
Number 1 in the world. It's as simple as that. With all the paraphernalia of stardom and the crescendo of excellence surrounding it.
What is the profit, the financial model that you are operating on now? I talk to Nollywood actors, young people, young ones who are starting, who are not like you veterans, who kind of complain that even though you have theaters in Nigeria, that most of the movies don't make the money that they expect. How is that working for you?
Well, the only thing that is constant is change. The world has gone digital. The world has gone online. The streets of Ebing Bejo, of Pound Street in Aba, of Opiweka is no longer as profitable as the highways of the Amazon, of the social media apparatus. So you have to change with the time. You have to embrace technology and you have to move with the tide. Otherwise, you will be swept away. So they just have to change their manual way of doing things, analog way of doing things to the digital and to the electronic, and it will be fine.
Okay, let me just play a clip of from one of your old movies, and then I'll ask you a question following that.
Actor Kenneth Okonkwo stole the hearts of many and lit up screens with his infectious charisma and versatility when he played the role of Andy Okeke in what industry experts called Nollywood's first blockbuster, Living in Bondage. The movie was released in 1992 with a sequel the following year.
All right. Paulo Akwasroi for my dad is that although Paul did not explain this very well. A lot of people at the comment section, they're asking me to ask you, why did you kill Merit? But beyond, I believe this is your most famous movie, I believe. But you know, it has a wider interpretation as far as I'm concerned. I'm thinking about when Buhari was in power, during the election he was elected, people said that, oh, we didn't know, they didn't explain to us who Buhari was, and we voted for Buhari. In this government, nobody will say that they did not know who Tinubu was before they voted for him, those that voted for him. I know that people contest whether the election is credible or not, but following the what is announced and what's going on now, is it that we don't explain things well, or that people do not care to listen and understand, like your character, Andy?
First of all, when I heard Merit, my heart skipped because I thought she has appeared again.
Somebody said, why did you kill Merit?
You call us from here that you're going to play that clip. You call us from here, can miss what you know. Anyway, it's one of those, beautiful, life-changing, destiny remolding thing that happened to my life. Living in Bondage was a classic that will live around us for a long time to come. I always believe that movie has a signature of God on it, because it's always difficult to do something that everybody will appreciate. Everybody, irrespective of your ethnicity or background. That movie helped to change my perspective about Nigeria. Because when it came out the first time, it was not subtitled. That subtitle that you are seeing in it, the original one that came out first, didn't have it. But the clamor of our brothers, the Hausas, the Igbos, for the movie, they were the ones who insisted we must subtitle it, because they were enjoying it and they wanted to know everything that was said in the movie. If they had anything against an Igbo man, if they had anything against Igbo language, they wouldn't fall in love with that movie. And so we went back and subtitled it. And that was how it kickstarted Nollywood. That is why I believe that the spirit of excellence is the greatest antidote to any primordial sentiment. This country, they do not have any problem against each other. It's the leaders that are formulating all these divisions in order to divide the people so they will continue to rule them irrespective of their incompetence and corruption. So that movie changed my perspective about Nigeria. And you cannot convince me against the Hausa, the Yoruba, the Efik. So when I sit down and say they love me, I am saying it factually because they've demonstrated it. When I sit down and say they don't hate Igbo, I am saying it factually because they have demonstrated it. So that's by the way. So that movie means a lot to me. It was the beginning of a whole lot of things, including changing my perception about my country, about the peoples in my country, and about everything. Then, the truth is this. The issue of this incumbent government is an eye-opener to Nigerians. To be very honest with you, whoever voted for this government owes himself and his generation an apology. A man did not come out to face the interviewers, to be cross-examined on what he wants to do for you, and you went and voted for him. A man came out. You don't know his primary school. You don't know his secondary school. You don't know his university. And you came out and voted for him. A man came out and the only certificate he showed you is, it is my turn. And you came out and voted for him. A man came out, did not subject himself to debate with other candidates. And you came out and voted for him. A man whose history is dogged with controversy, his origin, his academic qualification, his business dealings, everything about him is controversial. And you came out and voted for him. A man who has not shown any success in anything he has ever done. Whatever he has put his hand, he wants to dominate. He wants to put it in his family circle and put it in his hand. And then you voted for him. And then you want to come out to start blaming who? Whoever voted for this government is part of the problem and should apologize to himself and then to his family and to his generation. I did not vote for this government because the truth is that I knew from the one that I don't know this person. I don't know him. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know him. Everything I've ever heard about him is controversial. I don't know him. Who are the classmates? I don't know him. So whoever voted for him, come and tell me who he is. And if you voted for somebody who you do not know, then you should apologize to yourself.
Now, you're also a lawyer. I'm looking at the time. I know you have to go, so I want to give chance for people to join us and have a conversation.
So how many minutes have we spent now?
1 hour, 12 minutes. And
are you like kidding me?
I know. That's why I told you that you know when the time will fly, and we have a lot of people waiting to talk to you. But let me ask you this: I know your sisters. I hope I'm correct. Your sisters are lawyers, and you went to law school and you became a lawyer. Now, what do you? Where do you base your practice? Are you practicing law, or are you more or less an actor? And I know that you went to school of theology.
Well, I am a litigation lawyer.
Okay.
And I've represented notable institutions. I've represented the IG of police. I've represented the army. And I've represented my clients. And by the grace of God, God has been helping us. In law, you're not allowed to advertise yourself. So that's why when people start saying certain things, I laugh. But I come from a lawyer-infested family, if you can put it like that. So, I'm sharing the same womb with 4 other lawyers. So you can imagine that. They were shocked.
I know of 2. Okay.
Yes. I know of 2 because the light is gone again. Oh. And it's unfortunate.
I know.
Just give me, yes. Give me a little time.
Okay, let's take a little break and then we'll come back and bring our audience to the conversation.
Agree with anybody who says it's fraudulent, it's criminal, and has no business in the first place in the Nigerian economy. Like I said.
Well, that's why he removed it.
No. We should be as careful in coming out of oil subsidy as we were careless in going into it. we displayed recklessness and carelessness going into it in the first place. So when you are coming out, you wouldn't be as careless as you were going in. So what I'm saying is when you want to remove it, there are two fundamental bases, and I talk now as an economist, that you must fulfill in order to make sure that you don't destroy the economy before building it post-oil subsidy. And the two basic econometrics that you must achieve: you must saturate the system with fuel, and you must ensure there is no monopoly. When you saturate the system with fuel, elementary economics will teach you that when supply is excess, it maintains a cap on the price. However, no matter how supply is entrenched, if there is monopoly, the monopoly through Shylock mentality of making profit can still manipulate the supply in order to make sure that the price gets haywire. I give you an example with OPEC. OPEC can throw its weight around.
When your mazolo bio, akwa mazolo bio, Max, if you bunye lo kwanu mo no fube nazo olaga ni piazigo, ulaga do ni piazigo, akwa wilo chio biko rapuzo, kona bazia. When your mother because I'm my water the sorry. If you're gonna move, like I don't need music, like I don't need music. I'm my wheel of chill, bigger up. Mazi weko odogu no kwerezu naka onyomo niga dele mo mazi ni bazi ibu go with melody nigga delemo olaga doni bezigo olaga doni bezigo amama wilo chilo bigora muzo anabaze te onyama zoro de amama wazoro de sorry. Mulaga doni piazugo nazaboy mulaga doni piazugo amama wilo chilo biko rapuzoro anabazi ice odogu kenero bikechofo ama kwa mnika gogogia Oligwe kwelo ikejo mo bele bege hey you want Eku kampune kene Omogo ndi nso Chukwe mekalumo Chukwu negaji Esi nwanne m ekene ịlapụ ife niile na-eme wee bịa nke gosili na anyị na gị bụ nwanne wisdom ga-adị ka nye gị maịkị ka ogobanya bụ egwu Obu netire egwu a malụkwa malụ n'imego m ife ọjọọ wee sị gị nwanne m ife ọkụ na-echọlụ na ngeme wisdom onume ekene gị bama nwe iyo biko labụ zoro 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 Geduru joy na bugwu Hausa Sokoto Ujembe nwilo anụ solo nwe nwa n'ọfịa n'ara onye nwụrụ zuru ike.
All right. Can we?
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for staying and joining.
We can manage it this way.
Yeah.
This is a Sunday. You know, that was why I was reluctant on a Sunday. So my aides all went out.
Okay.
So, whoever is going to put on the
I understand. That's okay. Thank you so much for doing this, and we appreciate this. We're talking about being a lawyer and your goal as a lawyer, and how far you want to take it, and how you juggle the two things. Also, you're a theologian. What does that mean? Are you preaching? Do you preach? Are you a pastor?
I am not a pastor. I don't like that. I don't like titles that much. I am a teacher of the gospel, and I'm okay with it. I am a teacher of the gospel. Just hold on.
Okay.
So, I am a teacher of the gospel. And whenever you give your life to Christ or you change your position and you are a popular person, people will always want to hear from you why you took the decision. And then it is good for you to have knowledge, abundant knowledge of what you are professing that you are. So anytime you subscribe to anything in life, there's a need for you to learn more about such things so that you will be able to defend your position. I'm one kind of a person that when I subscribe to something, I want to understand it, learn it, and be able to defend it. So you can say, I'm a teacher of the gospel. That's why when people call me evangelist, I overlook it, because evangelist is just a preacher of the gospel. Now, there is a need for you to take stock in your life about who you are and know that the more powerful you are, the higher you go, the humbler you should be. So what sustains you in life is not the abundance of what you have, but your ability to utilize even the little you have for the good of mankind. And such a mind cannot come to you by accident. It has to be guided by the Spirit of the Good One, who is Jesus Christ. who lived his life absolutely for others. So when you imbibe such spirit, it makes you to be able to live sacrificial life and to live a life of advocacy for others. So Jesus was an advocate. He was even a lawyer. Remember when they wanted to stone that woman they accused of adultery? And she stood as a lawyer and defended her. She was guilty, but he just used the lawyer's sense, and she was set free. So you have to be an advocate. And when you really understand the nature of Christianity, you will discover that it aids your advocacy. I used to think that lawyers are liars. So when I now realize that Jesus Christ himself was a lawyer, I said, no, it cannot be possible. Lawyers are advocates. So we don't lie.
So preachers and people who understand the Bible, in Nigeria, there are many of them. We have people like Odumeje. We have people like Apostle Suleiman. We have people like General Overseer Adeboye. So when you see all these people, what does that say to you in terms of where Christianity is in Nigeria?
It says to me that there is only one person that should be a model for Christians, and the person is Jesus Christ. That's just what it says to me.
But how do people, are you saying that people should ignore the pastors and follow Christ?
I'm saying that the people should read the word of God and understand it. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The truth is the word. You cannot ignore the pastors or anybody that proclaims anything. But whoever tells you anything, you have to subject it to the truth of the word of God. And you have the right to believe or not to believe anybody. So there is nobody you should give a blank check because the person is answering any name. Jesus Christ should be your model. The word of God should be your standard. And then any other human being that tells you anything, subject it to the will of God. You see, what has happened here today has shown you the story of Nigeria. There is no power, there is no light, there is no fuel, there is no security, there is no food. Nigeria for you.
We have some of our people here. We call on each of you to have an opportunity to ask a question or to make a comment, but please leave it at one question. Find the best question you have for our guest, Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo. Just the best question, one. And he has to leave. We agreed on max 2 hours, and we've done 1.5 hours. All right, let me start with you, Kolola. You are first. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Damages, Rudolf Okonkwo, and thank you, Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo, for coming. You both have the same surname. You could be brothers if we are not mistaken. And good to see Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo. You're not living in bondage. At
No,
least
I
you're
don't know.
you're a free man now. So let me quickly go to my question and give others the space. 287 girls were abducted on Thursday. When Jonathan was the president, 200 girls were abducted, and that made a lot of noise. It actually was part of the things that sent him out of office. And we saw the role of the Americans. Even the wife, the first lady then, took a placard and said, "Bring back our girls." Now, this man that is in power now, whoever he is, has tried to invade Niger, which he had no business doing, and is being supported by some Western nations like France and the United States. I mean, they actually sent their Secretary of States to come and give us a lecture. What do you think is the role of the French and the Americans in the 2023 elections? Did they actually pull some strings such that the electoral body, not just by looking at the votes, decided to play to the tune of their masters? Because, like you have said, one man is not that powerful. This man cannot be that powerful. So, what did the Western nations, and these particular ones, the Americans and the French, play in the 2023 elections?
All right, thank you. Dr. Kenneth, I wanted to know, do you want to take one question and then, or you want to do three at a time?
No, let me take it one after the other.
Okay.
The situation in Nigeria now will make you to forget the second one if they don't. So now I want to ask you a question, or I want to answer your question with another question. If you give the Russians the opportunity to take out American democracy, do you think they would do it or not? Now, do you blame the Americans or do you blame the Russians for what the Russians are doing in America? Now, it's a rhetoric question. And why I'm saying this is that the strategic interest of any country should be their driving force. And it's a sign of failure for any country to be apportioning the blame for its own failure to another country. When you continue to give such an excuse, you will never grow as a country. By the natural order of events, there is a natural struggle for supremacy in the world. If you give the Russians the opportunity to take out Americans in anything, they will do that. And that is why America is guarding itself, guarding its democracy. The former president in America is facing 91 count charge. Yet nobody is called to account in Nigeria for all the malaise they are doing. You know what? It's not the French, it's not the Americans that did anything in 2023 election. It's Nigerians and the corrupt elite class that bungled that election. If you want to be corrupt, there will be people who will corrupt you to get away with whatever they want to do. So how can you begin to blame external powers for our corruption and for our incompetence? Americans will watch their system, get the collaborators amongst them, deal with them, take them out, and defend their country from external aggression. And an African man will continue to cry, oh, French, oh, when slavery was there, oh, slavery was your problem. When colonization was there, slavery ended. Oh, colonization is your problem. When independence came again, oh, the white neocolonialism. That's how you'll be crying until you die. My friend, let us grow up. We are an independent country and we should take responsibility for whatever we're doing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ikolola.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Maziovier, you're next.
I don't like when Rudolf wear blue and tie. It's always appear very wicked. How can you bring a man of so many life and so many characters? We just ask one question. I'll go ask 1.5. Let me not go into praise and alcohol lady. I know you will receive a lot of that. Now, as a professional actor, if you are to act in Nnamdi Kanu, to play Nnamdi Kanu, what will you portray him as? But now, my question will go to the obedience side. You were making case for Nollywood when Rudolf asked you the question and what do you think of Nollywood? You were full of, from your expression, you were so proud of what you guys achieved in the space of 30 years. But you follow that defense by saying how you guys lost the future, because that's the future, to Amazon, to Netflix and all that. And I could see the disappointment in your face. That's now lead me to the obedient question. You guys entered the obedient movement about eight months after losing the major election, which is the presidential election. I don't see any deliberate attempt to institutionalize it in our polytechnics, in our college of university, in our universities, or in our market square. I don't see any deliberate attempt to that. Is it lack of ideology, or it is the lack of what I accuse the Nigerian elite for, to which you belong in two dimensions as a politician and as an actor? Lack of vision and greed. Is that what is playing out again in the obedience space? Like just as you lost the future of the Nollywood industry to the external factor.
All right, thank you.
And the Kano, what would you put Kano as an actor? That's just the essence.
As an actor, I want to use my talent to portray Kenneth Okonkwo in any film I want to do.
That's a political answer. I like that.
Then, then the next question you did, I didn't say we're losing to Amazon. I said we must align with Amazon. I was just using it as a philosophical guide to show that we have to change our tune to the prevailing technological advancement so that we can remain relevant. Because the manual way of distribution is giving way for the technological and the electronic way of distribution. So I was actually saying that we should align. We have our own indigenous, technological, marketing outfits that are coming on online. So I was talking about alignment and changing, not losing it to. Amazon is recruiting some of our movies in its platform, which is commendable. The world is now a global village, and everybody must tune in to that global arena. So that's, by the way, the obedient movement is an organic movement. There is no one person in charge of it. They are in charge of themselves. It came up on its own, and everybody evolved with his own interests. So you cannot dictate to the obedient family worldwide on what they would do. It's not a political party. So because it evolved organically, you have to be patient with it to continue evolving until it is harnessed in a particular way and form a structure. It is a movement you cannot break into. And you talked about ideology. Ideology is what is actually sustaining that movement, not human being. The ideology of a new Nigeria. The idea of a third force has always been muted, but they've not found a compass. So that they saw in P2B, and that is why you saw them now galvanized. In 2019, they wanted that third force on them, but they couldn't find a mentor. In 2023, that mentor emerged in P2B, a man they can relate with, a man that they saw is a man of character, competence, and capacity. So immediately they saw the man, they were able to articulate that ideology around him. So it is not fading. The thing is that I would want you to withdraw the word that we lost election. No. INEC did not declare us winners. Till today, as I'm talking to you, INEC has not produced polling unit by polling unit result of that presidential election as required by law. And I'm talking about section 62 of the Electoral Act. When we went to court in the Court of Appeal, 3 orders were given for them to allow us to inspect those machines. They did not obey any. They rather went to the same court to get an order to reconfigure beavers, giving the excuse that they want to conduct a governor's election. So the issue here is that the honest truth is that whoever tells you this person won that election is a conjecture. because the INEC itself has not produced results to show the world. They just came and announced result. If you were writing a mathematics examination and they ask you a question and you go straight to quote the answer, they will tell you stole it. You must give the formula. Each formula has its own mark before you go to quote answer. So this INEC just woke up by 4:30 a.m. one day and quoted an answer. Till today, I don't know where they got the answer. Tell us now where you got the answer. They say they had technical glitch. If you had technical glitch, then technical glitch has glitched the election. Organize another one. And you just came and just announced a result that will continue to haunt them forever. So that's actually what happened. We did not lose that election, but INEC did not declare us winners.
All right, thank you, Mazovi. You reminded me of a question that I asked the party chairman, the Labour Party chairman, when he came here. Dr. Kenneth, we asked him about your own agents' results, the ones that your agents submitted to the party. And he said that you got about 60% of agents returning their polling units results. And we said, can we see that? Did you tabulate that? Did you make it public? And he said he will make it, let us know, make it public. We haven't heard from him. Wanted to know if you know about any effort to put it together.
Well, I was a member of the legal team, and I can tell you categorically that even from the results uploaded in IREF portal, we won Benue State, we won Rivers State. I'm talking about the results INEC uploaded in IREF portal, and we calculated it, and we presented it as part of the things we came to court with. Yet they said any evidence you got through stopping witness is not admissible. That was how they killed it. So even if you have those things, they would have found a way to kill it.
No, I'm not talking about the court now. I'm talking about public opinion.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Now, most of those results were mutilated. When you talk about the agency something, let me tell you, when they want to give that agency something, they don't write it differently. They carbonate it. And you can imagine about 18 political parties. So at times, before you get the one that is on the bottom, it might be faint. You won't see anything. In any case, the law did not say that the mere fact that agents are allowed to be in the party ground, in the polling unit ground, it did not exonerate INEC from presenting the evidence which the law say they must present. Good. Now, the law recognizes that it's not every party that can or will be able to sponsor agents in 176 polling units. That is why the law did not make it compulsory on political parties to have agents in every polling unit. If you go to the law, they will say may. And if you don't have any agent, it does not nullify the election. Because the law recognizes. So it is INEC that conducts elections. It is the duty of INEC to conduct free, fair, credible, and verifiable elections. They don't have any excuse. And the mere fact that a party has or does not have any agent copy should have nothing to do with free, fair election. In America, I don't even remember whether they talk about parties having copies. So it's ridiculous. I don't even want us to push our electoral system to that side, because like I told you, most of these agents' copies, even by nature, they are faint. So nothing should relieve INEC of the duty to do what they are supposed to do in law.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Alaba, you're next.
Oh, yes. I don't know what I would do with all these Okonkwas all over my life. First, correct me if I'm wrong, Rudolf Okonkwo. Living in bondage, Kenneth Okonkwo. Things for, can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Things fall apart. Baba Okonkwo no longer at his grandson Okonkwo. I tire for this Okonkwo. Mr. Okonkwo, for the purpose of today's question, I would have to give you a background. Please excuse me with my background, and I would address you the same way Reagan addressed Gorbachev. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. So when you hear me go, Mr. Okonkwo, there's a phrase coming behind it. But I got to give you a background first. First of all, I don't like to come here or listen to people who come to regurgitate our problems. We all know our problems. Our problems are worse than apartheid. Our pragmatic reality is that the country is gone and every aspect of our country is rotting. Apartheid is even more stricter than our current policy. But our current problem, impunity, bigmanism, feudalism, animal farm, born to rule, some are even more equal than others. All of these are self-induced, you see. It's like a cancer or the Warren-Barr disease. It's desirable, as deadly as it is desirable by everyone. Everybody wants to be this big man. They want to be a Tinubu. They want to be a Fashola. They want to be a big man. And it is invisible because it is connected to our livelihood. Now, Mr. Okonkwo, shouting will not achieve anything. We are all guilty and fall short of the glory of a nation because we are complicit in this Nigerian crime, whether we agree or not. We cooperate, we appease it, we wrongly diagnose it, and we don't evaluate our pragmatic reality correctly. We have a dead conscience, so we are complicit. Now, to my question, you're saying that, well, first of all, Mr. Okonkwo, party politics has failed Nigeria. Party politics cannot win for two reasons. One, it lacks ideology, and two, the rules of engagement are rigged. So you just said from your speech a few minutes ago, talking to Rudolf, that the people are helpless. The people are hopeless. I agree with you, but it is the job of the elites to give hope to the people and to grant help. So we are not doing that currently. We are wasting a crisis because hope is not a plan. True messages is not the same as propaganda. We cannot connect. We have to connect with stakeholders, invest in the media houses, and then communicate vital information to our people to give them hope and help. We have to recruit. We have to pick the best ideology, and we cannot continue. We have to pick an ideology like we cannot continue like this. We need a new Nigeria and sell this to the people. That way, with the help of technology, we consistently put our numbers of those, a few good men who joined this movement. It should be a movement, not a party thing, where on a day we reach 6 million, we announce it. We raise it to 10 million, we announce it. When we get to 40 million, we have reached a critical number to act. So you speak well, you talk well, you say the right thing, but unless we act right, there's no way we are going in this country. Now, all right. By now, the Labour Party is not an opposition party. It lacks ideology. The party wrangling like the Abures and the Arabambis issues are all distraction to the real cancer that is killing us in that country. Yes, you might point fingers at the Tinubus, but we are all like the Tinubus. We are like the Babangidas. And no matter how rich we are, as we have just seen with NEPA taking your light over there, no matter how rich Nigerians are, it's still like pouring perfume on a pig. So we all have to come together on a round table and address this problem. The likes of you, the likes of Ati. I'm going to my question, Rudolf. The likes of Obi, the likes of Mayegu, you take this message to Obi. We have to come together and address this power issue, because you cannot have a revolution unless you have power, and you cannot have a revolution, a power without a revolution of the mind. So what are you people doing in an attempt to recruit to the purpose of regenerating Nigeria? Not all this finger pointing and wriggling, wongling, muzzle speaking and shouting. Mr. Okonkwo, shouting cannot achieve
anything. My question is, are we wasting a crisis? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alaba. But next time anybody I called on, you have to care about other people. We are running out of time and our guest has to leave. So we want to give them a chance to get the award in. Go ahead, Dr. Okonkwo.
Well, let me say that I agree substantially with what he's saying. And if he heard me from beginning, I told him that people should stop pointing fingers at others as being part of their problem. Nigerian problem was created and caused by Nigerians, and we should take responsibility. I say we are hopeless and helpless because even if you give these people the advice, they will not take it. I am not the kind of person that comes to shout. I told you, I don't play politics with policies, because if Nigeria is working, we all work. I want any regime to work, whether it is my own support or not. Because, okay, look at this light now. If this regime has made light now 24 hours, I won't be going what I'm going through. I am not enjoying it. I must allow my aides to relax at least, even if it's one day. And Sunday is the best time to do it. But then, when you tell them that, look, without electricity, you're running around spending our dollars saying you want to chase investors, what are they coming to do? You don't have electricity, you have to power it with either diesel or petrol. And then you're selling it to them at almost 1,000 naira per liter and 1,200 per liter of diesel. It's not sustainable. That's why I say we are hopeless and we are helpless. And even when you advise them, they will not take it. So I agree with you. The only thing the opposition does is to shout. Sorry. You don't have the army, you don't have the police, you don't have anything. So you have your say. Your say is the only thing that you have. But it has to be constructive. When you point out the problem, you should be able to recommend solution. When I pointed out the problem that they should not remove subsidy, I told them, go and repair your refineries. Make sure the supply is sufficient. Then make sure there is no monopolist. In other words, break the monopoly of NNPC. License modular refineries. The main fact that you say you are destroying the refineries of Nigerians show that there are a lot of people that can produce refined crude in Nigeria. Why destroy them? Encourage them to come out. License them. We don't have problem of fake fuel in the market, meaning what they are refining is original. So this country destroys even the little it has when it has none. So what I'm saying is that not just that I will point out the problem, as a trained business administrator, I will proffer solutions. In the issue of the dual foreign exchange, I said no, sustain the value that you want, then make policies to suit it. How? Ban importation of some luxurious items. You know what this government did? Even the one that Buhari banned, they lifted it, including toothpick. You can import toothpick and the government will give you foreign exchange to import it. Is that not shameful? How would you survive by that? So my brother, the truth is that I agree with you that Nigeria has failed. That's not the truth. That's why I told somebody that God has to come to our rescue one way or the other. And that way, I don't know. If we continue like this in the election, 2027 election, there will be no election. They will write the results in the state houses and give to you. It happened in Kogi. It happened in Imo State. They call it pre-filled results. They just sat down, write the results in advance, give it to the polling unit presiding officers, and they transmit it through IREV. And you can see obvious manipulation, even in the IREV. So it has come to a level where hopelessness has set in. What we have now is renewed hopelessness. And when you get to that level, it's only God that can help you. That's the truth.
All right. Thank you. Eagles Air, please go straight to your question. I'm worried about time. There are questions on the comments. We have to make sure we get to a few of them before our guest leaves. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rudolf Okonkwo and Kenneth Okonkwo, the only man that added living in bondage, while Nigeria is living in bondage right now. So I want to ask a question. Yes, he added living in bondage. Right now, Nigeria is living in bondage. So I want to ask a question. The question I want to ask you, first of all, good morning, everyone in the panel from India. I'm all the way from India right now. So I want to ask this question. There is a application that Labour Party created during time of election period. There's application they created that time that they want to use to organize all the obedient movement and all the rest of them, that they are going to make use of it that period of time. And when I heard about that application, I thought that the Labour Party wanted to use it to make sure that all the polling agents will use it to transmit their result direct to the Labour Party, so that they'll be able to get every information they needed, so that it will be easy for them to make it. But at the end of the day, I don't know how the application dies off. I don't know what happened to the application. Also, what is Labour Party doing concerning the insults they did to Labour Party chairman Julius Abure? What exactly happened to him? What is the movement of Labour Party right now concerning the insult the Labour Party chairman received? And what the PRO of police of Enugu State called him a factional leader? Thank you.
Well, as you can see now, the Court of Appeal has ended that controversy. I've always believed that they were political charlatans bought to destabilize Labour Party, and I've been proved right all the way, because they didn't have any legal grounds to even do what they're doing. But when the system gives them the air and the oxygen, they will start breathing, even when they were on life support. So now that the judiciary has come up with the judgment, the life support has been pulled away from their nose, and they have died naturally. They have even acknowledged that they are dead. Now, I do not have any problem. We cannot be talking about rule of law party, and we will be a party that will shield anybody that is involved in any criminal activity. So if Abure is involved in any criminal activity, let the due process of law be meted out against him. But trying to waylay him, to ambush him, just for the sake of getting to Labour Party is unacceptable. So I've talked on it. The Edo PRO displayed incompetence and he displayed partisanship. And that's not the way police people work. By now, in Senna crimes, he should be somewhere in the backyard, not being seen again as a police officer. Talk more of being a PRO. How can a police officer be talking like that, factional national chairman? From where did he get? Okay, now that the court has settled it, what would he say? Now, why were you waiting for Abure to come to organize an election before you pick him up? Why? When the complaint was given to you months ago, why didn't you arrest him long time ago? So these things, for me, they are politically motivated. And you can see it. If you are in America, you will understand that even close to the election, they suspend all prosecutions so that it doesn't appear as if it is election interference. And this is 2 days to an important election, and you're arresting a national chairman in such a degrading form. They offended Section 34 of the Constitution. They offended Section 35 of the Constitution and did everything wrong. So the PRO displayed a lot of partisanship, and I condemned it, and I'm still condemning it. I believe that it is a political hit job, and it shouldn't repeat itself. But you know, when you're in politics in Nigeria, you just have to know that such a thing, you know, happens. You know, the opposition is always in a very critical situation.
All right. Thank you so much.
What about that application? The application created by Labour Party.
Well, the app is it not what you receive from INEC that you will feed into it? If INEC does not release, what are you going to feed into it? So it is just like an app meant to help you in order to broadcast what INEC, has uploaded. So INEC is the only institution authorized to upload results. So even if you take your own copy, which may be faint, and upload, and INEC upload another one, they will tell you to go to court. So the issue here is that once INEC does not do the right thing, there is nothing that app can afford you. That app was created when we thought that INEC was actually going to do the right thing. Remember, INEC conducted good election in Edo State that brought Obaseki. In Ondo State that brought Aketi, the late Aketi. So they used it in Anambra State, these 3 states, before the 2023 election. And they used it to make the people to have confidence that they were going to do the right thing. But then they came in and failed. Everybody was taken unawares. So there is nothing the app can do for you if INEC does not do the right thing. That's why I'm telling people that let us focus on INEC. Otherwise, our secondary inventions cannot help us because it is dependent on the primary attitude of INEC.
All right, thank you, Eagles. For the next, we've exhausted the time. This is 2 hours. Whatever time we have is extra time now. I don't know how long our guests will stay. So if you ask more than one question, I will remove you and your question will not be answered. I really care about people who are here, people who are waiting, and I want to give them a chance. So, Prince,
Okay.
answer Prince.
Now, are we in extra time or injury time?
Injury time. Injury time. So I'm worried about, I want to be fair to people who are waiting. So one question on.
All right. Let's make it that by 8, we are done.
Okay. All right. We have extra time now. But still, Mazi Prince.
Dr. Rudolf, good morning. And Barrister Kenneth Okonkwo, good morning. I know whenever it comes to my time, that's when the rule changes. That's when it changes. However, I'm not going to ask any question. I'm only going to praise you, throw encomiums on you. Keep up the good work. I'm a very, very ardent follower of yours. I follow you, on all social media. And all I can say is just keep up the good work. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Right? I surprised you, right?
Thank you so much. Let me use your time to pick a question from the comments before we continue on the people here. There's a question about accounting for the money raised by Labour Party. I know that it's been coming up and it's been an issue. I don't know if you are aware of where that stands. Has there been a published account, audited account?
Yes, there has been a published account, audited.
Okay. All right. Let's go to KJ. KJ, you're next.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rudolf. Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo, thank you so much. Also, I am one of those who got into the media because of living in bondage. Yes, I became, we had a video camera lying somewhere in the house, and after Kenneth Okonkwo's production of that Living in Bondage, I decided to become a cameraman. So that was what brought me into it, and eventually became, part of the profession I've lived.
Where are you from?
I'm from Anambra State.
Okay.
All right. So, so I've listened to you. It was quite educative, entertaining, and every other thing that goes with entertainment, came with all your answers and your in this interview. So I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to you. And I want to praise you, like just my last speaker. I want to say all that you have done well. Like Igbos have a proverb. When you ask coach, koji doma. So koji doma very well. And we like the way you have also come out to defend both the opposition, the Labour Party, the politics. Your presentation so far, because I follow most of your interviews. Now, the only place where me and you may probably disagree a bit is on the issue of Nigeria. One person who I still ask the question: do you think, and that's maybe my question for you today, because I don't really have any question for you based on all that you've said and done. And I like the way you also been able to distinguish yourself. And maybe two questions, just very briefly.
One,
take him down.
He said he doesn't have a question, and
no,
from nowhere you now have two.
just one, KJ. All right, nature has helped us, froze him out. Not us. KJ, you can come back again and you ask your question. If you try to ask two questions, nature will help us freeze you. To be honest.
Hello, sir. I would like to go straight, and I think you've had enough greetings and economies put out to you. I'm going to come from a different angle from my training, and from what we've seen so far with the APC, with the MO. I do not think the way we're approaching 2027 will work. Number one, let's just call it spade a spade. We don't have a judiciary. These people are even going to surprise us more in 2027. Tinubu obviously is sort of grooming his two boys to take over with the criminal gang, because I call them a criminal organization, APC. It's just a total. And if you're dealing with people that are civil and understand the rule of law, is a different thing. But this APC people have shown themselves to be a well-organized criminal organization. My hope is something dynamic, something kinetic happens to unseat them. But then again, let me move my attention to the Labour Party. Do you think the Labour Party, because I believe there are some criminal elements within the Labour Party that is trying to unsettle, it's all the distraction that I see now, it's trying to unsettle the Labour Party and cast aspersion on our principle. I personally, what I'll be saying to Mr. Peter Obi, if I see him, is I will tell him respectfully, sir, if you could consider leaving the Labour Party and start organically a new movement, because the Labour Party is corrupt. Come 2027, they are going to use the people within to destabilize and cause a lot of confusion. That's my observation. So I don't. The other things I want to say, but with time, yeah.
Okay. Well, like I said, we are in Nigeria, and I cannot vouch for any organization within Nigeria to be free from the environmental influence that is called Nigeria. I would not want to accept the fact that Labour Party is corrupt, but I would accept the fact that I cannot exonerate everybody in Labour Party, just as I cannot in any organization in Nigeria. So we've been able to do things right as a party since Peter Obi came in. But whatever individuals do that is criminally culpable, they should take responsibility. So I agree with you. The nation is in a flux. We do not have provision for independent candidates in our constitution. So you must have a political party. So if you can salvage the one you have and make it to be what you want it to be, why not?
Well, surely it's not rocket science to set up one now. 2027 is not too long for us to set up something.
And if that virus reaches that one, then you set another one up. You set another one up. Or are you going to import people from the moon? So what I'm saying is that the first option should not be running to set up parties. The first option should be to identify the virus and the bacteria that infect such ones and neutralize them. Because if you don't, look at what is happening in Nigeria. They set up ICPC. It was not working. They went and set up EFCC. The same virus. Now you have bloated bureaucracy and nothing is still working. They're not talking about shrinking. So you see, my first choice is identify the virus and the bacteria and give them the medication that would destroy them and see whether you can salvage that institution. If it becomes unsalvageable, why not? Just like as human beings die, you allow it to die and then you give birth to a new child. But if you don't destroy that virus and bacteria, it will infect the new one and the whole idea be defeated.
All right, Tone, thank you so much. Let's leave it at that. Let's go to the flagship.
Yes, KJ. Okay, KJ is back.
KJ is back. Okay, KJ. Let me. KJ, go ahead.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Not repeating guys.
Thank you, Dr. Okonkwo, for saving me from Rudolf. Yes, I wanted to ask. You have done so very well. Is that everything you have done, as an individual, you have been so successful? Because we don't know much of your background, but we know when it came to limelight, everything you have done has turned out to be, it's like a mother's touch. So what is responsible for the mother's touch that you have as an individual? Secondly, I don't like, I have a bit of problem. Do you think Nigeria is redeemable, by your own observation? Thank you. That's all I have to say. Thanks.
Good. Well, the Midas touch you're talking about, I did living in bondage at the age of 24. And prior to that, I was in school and still had one of the best grades in the university. University of Nigeria gave me a certificate for academic excellence. And that was before I came in to become an actor. I think it's because from the one, I have a sense of shame and I do not like defeat. And so I built a sense of responsibility. And then I believe in God a lot. And then I believe that you should, as you're praying, you should work hard. So I believe in hard work. I believe in honesty and sincerity. And one thing about honesty and sincerity is that you cannot be telling others the truth and be telling yourself a lie. So when you are doing the wrong thing, you'll be honest with yourself to know this cannot take me anywhere. Because to thine own self be true. You can't give what you don't have. So the way I am honest with you is the way I'm honest with myself. I know my weak points and I run away from it. I tell myself the truth. So when I mess up, I'll tell myself, boy, you messed up. So it's not because I am free from mistakes, but you don't see me making the same mistakes twice. And once you don't repeat your mistakes, people think you don't make at all. So the issue here is that what I believe in life, I'm a perfectionist. I do not believe in coming second. I believe that the only position you should aspire for is first. And I believe every human being has what it takes to be number one, because you don't have two heads. I believe that if you have 30 members in a class, 30 of them can come first. So, when you propel your mind to the propensity of excellence, you can only be successful. Let there be moderation in your life. Even virtue should have its own limits. Do the right thing at the right time. There is time for everything. When you're supposed to be playing and you're reading, you won't come out a successful person. I am telling you, when I became an actor, it was not the spirit of academics, it's the spirit of entertainment in me. But it couldn't have come out the way it came out if there was no academics inside of you. So knowledge is the charisma with which, knowledge is the ingredient with which charisma is built. So you have to work for the knowledge and you have to be charismatic and you have to have grace of God. So I think that the only thing you know about me is what I know about myself. Because the first success I hit was public. And once you go that public, there's nothing you will do again that will not be in the public clear. I am not in any way perfect. I'm not in any way a saint. There are still things I would want to change in my life.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, KJ. Flagship.
Yeah. And for what you said about Nigeria, I will be wrong to myself as a preacher of the gospel to say that it is over. And the only reason is because I have seen a dead womb bear a child. So because I still believe in miracle, there is something historically I have seen about Nigeria. And I'm waxing theological this time. Whenever Nigeria comes to a head where it appears that there's no solution, something will happen. Maybe unexpected, maybe expected. We've passed through queues. We survived. We passed through civil war. We survived. We passed through cancellation of June 12th. There was a time after that cancellation, it was as if we can't come out of this. Now we're heading towards disintegration. I was in Nigeria all through. One way, within a space of 30 days, or thereabout, or 40 days, we survived. Something happened. Whether it was contemplated or not, I don't know. So I believe that when every other thing fails, and that, like I said, I'm waxing theological this time, God will come in and do something. And I believe that soon, God will do the one that will make him God. So that's just my belief. I do not think as an Igbo man, I will prefer a smaller territory to a bigger territory, because I have what it takes to compete with any human being in any part of the world. So why would I accept a smaller territory for a bigger territory? Is it because I can't compete? Why? Why would I run away and go back to a smaller territory when they told my forefathers that no, you cannot go to your smaller territory? We are now Nigeria and we are Nigerians, and it will be good for all of us. And in fairness, it is good and better for all of us to be one Nigeria. Nigeria is the only hope for the black man. Look at what's happening in Haiti. Look at what is happening in this and that. If there is no country that is powerful enough to safeguard the interest of the black man, it's going to affect every black man on earth. Nigeria is the hope of Africa, the most populous nation in Black Africa, the largest economy in Africa, the most populous black nation on earth. So Nigeria has a lot. And if you take away the Igbo in Nigeria, I'm sorry, Nigeria will never be the same. The Igbo man is the best gift for Nigeria, and Nigeria is the best land for the Igbo man.
All right. Thank you so much. Flagship, you're next.
Thank you, Dr. Rudolph, and good afternoon. Good afternoon to our esteemed guest, in my opinion, Barrister Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo. It's actually a great privilege speaking with you today. I won't want to take time to go back to all that I have to say, but it's pretty encouraging and amazing to me to see someone like you who has reinvented himself over time and has always excelled in everything that you put your hands on to do. It gives me hope about our country, homeland, Nigeria, to know that there is still a chance to make things better. You have touched on my questions briefly from two questions that were asked in the past. And I would come up this way in a few seconds. Nigeria, our great land, has never been blessed with great and good leadership since its inception. And even up until the time when we transitioned into democratic form of government, it's always gone down since then. It seemed like the crop of leaders that we get don't understand what leadership really is. Fast forward to now, we've been blessed and privileged to have someone who seem to have an idea of what true leadership is. 2023 came February, and we all know what happened. He's currently in a party that seemed to lack leadership as well. Thank God for the judgment that was just recently given with reference to Aburi. Here's my question and maybe comment. Peter Obi has demonstrated leadership to a great extent since the election started and even after the election. Isn't it time for him and Dr. Dati to take this leadership quality that they have, which is exceptional, and take it within the Labour Party and try to fish out that virus, like you rightly said, which I agree with. A new party is not the option because it will also be subjected to the infestation of this virus. Can they apply this leadership skill that they have in the Labour Party to fix and restructure the party as soon as possible to get it ready for 2027? Because it's just right around the corner. We may think it's 3 years away, but really there's no time. So can both of them apply this skill that they have that we seem to find here in Nigeria and get the Labour Party ready for 2027 to give us another fighting chance? Thank you.
Right. They have what it takes to do that. And like I said, if an institution does not want to receive the medication to neutralize the virus and bacteria, then the only choice you have is to allow them to die, to be killed by that. Then you now have a new baby. So at least they have a choice now. So I believe they have what it takes to cure the Labour Party. Then if the sickness or anything becomes terminal, you allow it to die and then you go for a new baby. So, but my own opinion is that Labour Party is still the best amongst all the other parties. And I know that they will harness what they should. I'm not making promises because they came into Labour Party and they met some people. So if they meet too much opposition, they will take the right decision. But I want to believe that the people in Labour Party should be amenable to whatever they want to decide, because their presence or absence is going to affect Labour Party one way or the other.
All right, thank you, Flagship. We'll take 4 more questions. Those are in the studio from Forefathers, Pansat, John Abba, and Man of Presi. Just your question. And let me tell viewers at home, everybody watching, that P2B is coming on this platform in few weeks. Sometime it's and also Aisha Yusufu is coming on next month. So if you can't exhaust all the questions for Labour Party on Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo. So there are more Labour Party people coming here. We are trying to get the PDP people to also come. I don't know about APC. They are not responding to me. But if we get them, they will also come. So don't feel bad if we don't get to you. I know a lot of people trying to ask questions on the comment section. So we just take the 4 people here. Just your questions, please. Forefathers, you're next.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Rudolf, and greetings to everyone on the panel, and special greetings to Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo. Thank you for joining us here. And,
I'm looking at the Forefathers again. I thought it would be the oldest, but it looks like the youngest. Even Dada.
Dada. No. So sorry, I'm not at my best. I'm not feeling very well, but I think I wanted to start with the question that Okalala asked, and you said something about us taking responsibility, ultimate responsibility for our own distant affairs, which is true. But that said, there are multi-dimensional approaches to everything. Multiple things can be true at the same time. If you have a problem, you have to recognize that problem. Otherwise, your people would not recognize it. And if there are forces out there that we are up against, you have to let your people know. If your people are not aware, they walk around like headless chickens and they are vulnerable constantly. Every nation defines themselves according to the threats that they face. And I fear that we as a people, our threat assessment has completely broken. And when you it kind of shut him down for asking a question about the effect that the West had on our elections. In a way, you are doing similar stuff by shutting that avenue down for us to recognize that there are actors here. It doesn't mean we are still not ultimately responsible for our fate, but you have to alert our people to potential dangers that we face out there. And this is one of the biggest problems in what I find in Nigeria. We think we can outsmart people by somehow pretending as if they don't exist. We have to define people according to the danger they pose to us, because even America defines itself against Russia and against other people. China, the same thing. Any people that want to emerge have to recognize the dangers, and everybody has to be signed on to it. And what I fear is that Nigerians are completely asleep. Fela sang about this type of problem a long time ago, saying that they freed us, but we not freed our minds. And for some reason, we seem to feel as if we are afraid to call things for what they truly are. And if we keep doing that, we are passing a kind of greater sacrifice to the next generation to have to make that sacrifice and call these things out for what they truly are before we can truly be free. You talked about this in the religion earlier on. I'm sure you are very much aware. Even Israel, when they left Egypt and they saw the land of the promised land, because of lack of courage, they were sent into the wilderness for 40 years. Sooner or later, you have to confront the challenges that we face. And because of this, our weakness, our people have suffered all over the world, and you spelled it out perfectly well. And what is missing is our ability to decloak ourselves of the final, a kind of charade, to actually call things out for what they are, so that our people can actually deal with these problems. And when they see their leaders betraying them, they can tell. Okay, look at now. You said Tinubu and the government have run out of ideas. I don't think they've run out of ideas. They are doing exactly what they were meant to do. Keep our country strong enough not to collapse and weak enough never to develop. They are completely destroying our future. Every single time I watch them, the pattern remains the same. And everything you describe is exactly what that is meant to do. Now, the question I want to ask is, if you got into office strategically, because strategically we have not changed position since 1960. We are just as weak as we are in 1960 to today. Maybe economy change here and there, but in terms of our ability to define our destiny, we haven't changed anything. People can come tomorrow and just roll us over and say we should become slave or whatever they want to do with us again. They can decide that. So what is your own strategy to get us out of the position we are in strategically? Like, let me give you an example. Look at what the three Sahel nations did. They formed a defense pact to be able to be stronger, and they pulled out of ECOWAS, and even ECOWAS had to call them back now with bribing them and all the rest. What is your own strategy to get us from where we are right now to a place where we can actually represent ourselves in the world freely and also secure the black race? Because you said it yourself, we have about 1.3 to 1.4 billion black people in this world, and there is nobody representing them. So do you have any strategy to get us to that position? How do you position Nigeria to get us to a position where we can determine our destiny? Thank you.
All right. You are subscribing to another person's idea because you don't have any idea of your own. So the only reason they are taking the ideas of the West is because they are bereft of their own idea. The West did not come to start taking out our leaders after independence. They used our brothers to take out our leaders. Why I'm saying this is that I understand what you're saying, and I am pointing it out. But once you outsource the problem to them, it will never have solution. I said it is permanent. A nation's interest, strategic interest, is permanent, and they will go to any length to continue to perpetuate it. So it is not the duty of the America to save you. It is the duty of the America to save their own interest. And if their own interest is destabilizing you, you cannot blame them for doing what will be good for their people. That is why I'm saying, why don't you grow up? Nigeria has been independent now for going to more than 60 years. And then you're still saying it's the foreigners that is your problem. Okay, you have practiced parliamentary system, you failed. You've practiced presidential system, you failed. Because the Second Republic failed. Americans, they are still practicing presidential system. They are the most powerful nation on earth. Britain never wanted America to be independent. They fought for it like any other African country. They declared their independence. They held forth their powers. And the British are now collaborating with them. So when you become powerful and reject slavery and subordination, they will come and collaborate with you because they need you. So I am not wishing it away. I am saying that we must take our destiny in our hand. Look at Saudi Arabia. Look at the way it's going. They are buying every footballer in order to develop their own team. Do you think the West like it? But the West must accept it. Why not you? We were sending aid to UAE. Now, they've even stopped giving us visa to come to their country. So the issue here is, if you don't say I am, nobody will say thou art. We have to stop pointing fingers. Why? It will continue forever. Forget it. It will.
But the Americans point fingers. Everybody, you have to let your people know dangers out there. If you see a snake, you don't tell your child, oh, ignore it. You are responsible for it. You have to tell your child that snake is dangerous.
Good. You are the one who is not telling them the problem. I am telling them the problem, but I am also telling them the solution. Good. I started telling you that Russia is a problem to America, but America confronts them every day. Good. I made that analogy. So I said, yes, they are a problem because they are fighting for their strategic interest. It is our duty to confront it and end it. Good. If you are expecting them to bring the solution to you, then you will be in that eternal problem. So that's why I'm telling you that it is your duty to take off their legs on your neck. Because if they need to keep it, is serving their interest, it will be there. So how can you be looking for solution from the hand of your oppressor?
No, I'm not looking for solution from them. I'm saying that we should let our people.
Forefathers, I'm sorry. We really have to care about other people. We're running out of time. I can arrange a different conversation. I'm sorry, forefathers. Let's go to other people.
The people already know. So we are not going to tell them that. I mean, in the Francophone countries, you can see how they take the uranium and they are giving them nothing for it. In Nigeria, most of our solid minerals, they don't even know who come to mine them. Look at our oil. You have your 4 refineries, it's not working. It is helping some people who are outside the country. So how will they come to help you to repair the refineries when they know that you, the corrupt ones, do not want it to be repaired because you, the corrupt ones, are gaining from it? So people are paying subsidy when they are not importing anything. That's corruption. It's because the refineries are not working. If the refineries work and they are no longer importing, that corrupt money will not be paid. So how do you blame the foreigners for taking advantage of that when it is your people that are doing it? These things are there, but accept it that it is not the foreigners, it is us that are the problem.
All right, thank you. Let's go to man of prestige. Jonas.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Okonkwo, for coming to this platform. It's nice to see you. So I'm going to go straight to my question. I think Flagship has asked a little bit of what I was going to ask in reference to leadership. So my question, I'm just going to be direct to what I'm saying. Does P2B has the guardianship to lead Nigeria? Because I'm very much concerned about what's going on in Labour Party right now. The financial wrangling and everything, is very disheartening. So if we can't handle a party like Labour Party, can he lead Nigeria? So, I mean, you are very familiar with P2B. So can you enlighten us a little bit? I'm just concerned, okay? I'm a supporter of P2B, but he seems he's not taking the mantle by the horn and just make a decision and say this is this. So I'm concerned about that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, first of all, there's no wrangling in Labour Party about money. I know of allegation against some people about money, but there's no wrangling. There are no two people in Labour Party that are struggling for any money. But some people are alleging that some people misappropriated. These are two different things. Wrangling about money means that we are struggling for money. I'm not aware of that. But me alleging that a leader took money when he's not supposed to take money does not mean I am contesting the money with him. So that's one. There is no institution in the whole world, including in America, where you don't have allegations against people for corruption. I think last month, a senator was alleged to be piling up gold and money in America for what they believe that it was corrupt enrichment, for which he is going to go to court. And a high senator for that matter, a chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee for that matter. So you can't stop allegation. Ironically, none has been proved against him. And again, this is a party affair. This is not a governmental affair. So bringing P2B is like saying you want a dictator who will sit down in his house and dictate to the party what they should do. So these things evolve. As P2B continues to be the leader of the party, you will see the party transforming to reflect his character. P2B entered Labour Party almost like a month or 2 months before the election. So these things do take time. And we've not spent 1 year. P2B had not been in Labour Party for any convention. No convention has held since he came to Labour Party. So these things, as they keep coming, things will keep falling in shape. For now, Labour Party is the healthiest among the three parties. In Edo State, APC trumped up 3 candidates and they had to cancel the election in Edo, with the godfather in Edo supporting the candidate they declared winner. And the APC as a party had congratulated the winner in that first one, but they cancelled it and had to do another one. PDP, the same thing. You saw the deputy governor, declaring himself winner in one faction and another winner in another faction. Labour Party is still the only party that organized one election and produced one winner. Forget the other people that will sit down in their house and write any letter. So Labour Party is still the best. As a matter of fact, the worst of Labour Party is still the best, and is still better than the best of the other parties. Quote me.
All right. Thank you so much. Jonava, you're next. We're rounding up. Pansat will have the last question.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Rudy, and thank you, Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo. We used to meet in Chopstick on Pebia Lane many years ago in that Chinese restaurant, but we are all old now. Well, you used to act. My question to you, I just want to thank you.
I'm sure that time I have not become born again. That time, every nightclub in Ikeja, without no exception, we'll go from this place, we'll end up in Fela's shrine. Can't you thank God for my life?
You are still struggling. You're not perfect yet. I'm just joking.
You know,
Yes,
we go
I
to
thank God for your life. And also thank God.
and they'll be telling us about there is the one was the one street for Lagos. I call them Oju Elegba. Then they never bought my house. All those things, you know, you'll be enjoying it.
Yes. And
You will not
thank
smoke Igbo, but before you leave Fela Shrine, you will be behaving like the person that smoked Igbo.
Yes, thank you so very much for what you do and your voice. To you have spoke well of everything, and basically you have a knowledge of what is going on in the country and around the world. One of my thing with you is that you are a very forceful man. That is a good thing. I don't mean it in the wrong way. You go for whatever you want to get in life. Do you think Peter Obi should pick another vice if he have to run in 2027?
Now, that's a hypothetical question. You know, a lot of things do happen along the line. And so I would be playing God for me to know what will happen in 2027. And then that is in our constitution, the choice of whoever is your running mate is an exclusive privilege of the presidential candidate. So thank God they say Peter Obi will be coming on this platform, you know the stand time. I would be a prophet to know what's going on in his mind. So please, when he comes here, remember to ask him that question.
Yeah, but my question to you, I'm not carrying twice. But another thing is that you are a very I think you went to Bible school. You are a clergyman, and you use in your own word many times about Nigerian. They failed church because that is where they get their hope from. Do you think that their religious being gullible is also affecting the way they do things and why the politicians and the elite are holding them hostage?
No, put it this way. Because of the hopelessness they're experiencing from their leaders, they are seeking solace in the church. These are two different things. People always think that it is because of our going to church that is our problem. No, it's because of our problems that is pushing us to the church. Let me tell you, every Nigerian would have had mental problem if not for church or mosque. I'm telling you. Can you imagine abroad if this level of hunger, distress comes upon them? All of them will kill. They will carry gun and kill everybody. Will kill everybody. But when you go to church and they will tell you, have hope, you know, don't kill, don't commit suicide, this and that. You discover that that is the only last hope, because nothing is working. Nothing. No food, no water, no electricity, no fuel. Everything, nothing is working. Insecurity. You're afraid to go out to look for food. Farmers can't go to farm. So hopelessness. Then you come to a place where they're telling you, hoping against hope, still have hope. And they will cite Abraham for you. They will cite Sarah. So you now say, oh, even if all these things, they are not working, even if everything is dead, there can still be birth even from a dead womb. You know, such impossibilities will make you to at least be able to sleep and see a new day. So while we are thinking that the church is a problem, the church may just be a city of refuge. Things are hopeless in Nigeria. And if you want to take the church or mosque as a mental home, fine. But I'm telling you that Nigerians are not being churches because they want to use it as part of the problem. They are being churches because they want to use it as an escape route because nothing else is working.
All right. Before we go to the last question, I want to ask one question from the comments. That's somebody wanted to know if you are going to serve Enugu State in 2027. That is, if you are going to run for governor. That's my own understanding of that question. Are you going to serve Enugu State in 2027?
You know, being honest with you, what I want to focus now is securing the ground before looking for the mats. We have to have a Nigeria first before we talk about our own individual opinion and ambition. It's dying. I sleep now to think about
Right. I was happy that I asked that question, and our guest is Ansat. I'm very sorry to say that.
It's unacceptable, so we'll just have to wait till he gets back here.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay. I think it's telling us that,
yeah, time
really,
is, yeah, I know.
I know. So I do not sleep and think about my personal ambition now, because Nigeria is dying. If you are genuine that a new Nigeria is what you're looking for, that the interest of your country is what you're looking for, and everything is collapsing, insecurity is not abating, cost of living not abating, you can see how we are in darkness. Good. If this thing had not happened in your eyes, somebody will say the opposition wants to blackmail government. And if you know the billions of dollars that have been invested in electricity, you will know how hopeless our leaders have become. We have no business being close to poverty. So what is aching my mind now is, how can we get competent and men who have character and who have capacity to govern us? And when you distract yourself with your own personal ambition, it may be difficult for you to combine these things. Do you know, if I had been running for any office in 2023, people will say why I'm supporting Obi is because it will help me to win that office. Because the opposition will be there to water down what you want to fight for. So you don't give them too much rooms. I want a new Nigeria. I want men of competence, character, and capacity to be in power. I am in politics. We all should be in politics now, but we all cannot be in power at the same time. So I want us to secure the ground, secure Nigeria. When Nigeria is working, then I'll begin to think about, there is a lot of pressure on me to contest. Let me tell you, in the 2 occasions that I wanted to contest, immediately I saw that what they were doing, I didn't like it. I stepped down. So I've not run any election in Nigeria. Not one. So I have not failed. So let there be a favorable environment. I mean, if you don't want to rig election, and you know that if you go and contest for election, you will either rig or you will lose. If you don't want to lose and you don't want to rig, what will be your best option? To fight for free and fair election first before you go to contest. I am not power hungry. One of the reasons I entered politics is not for self-aggrandizement. God has blessed me enough. You know who I am without my entering politics. I couldn't have been entering politics to make a name. I am comfortable. I've never lobbied for any political office in my life. Not once. I've been in PDP, APC, I'm in Labour Party. I've never lobbied for any political office in my life. What for? That's not why I entered politics. I want to see Nigeria work. So basically, like I said, in 2027, in the hands of God, but I would have a preference to see that Nigeria becomes a new Nigeria, to any personal ambition that I may have.
All right. Thank you so much. Last question, we go to Pansat, and he has...
okay, I thought that was the last question. What happened?
Oh, no, Pansat is the last. No, that wasn't the last one. Pansat is the last.
Over here.
Was there any padding? Was there any padding?
There was no padding. So he's an elder, and we have to give him. We respect him a lot here, even though.
Okay, during that time there was a technical glitch. Was there anything small?
There was there's no Akpabio is not here. There's no Akpabio here. We didn't pad anything.
Okay.
No, the question was from the
on my mood.
chat. I think that's what was confused.
Yeah.
About.
All right.
So welcome to our platform.
Thank you, sir.
I want to say, if you glance over the private session, you see me asking Rudolf, Mr. Okonkwo, the host, for a little bit more time, because we're plagued with some all kinds of stuff when we are on this platform regarding Peter Obi. I just wanted you to, I know you've been here a long time and you have commitments. If you would overrule him and give me like 2 or 3 more minutes so that we could flesh out some of these issues, right? Hold on, Rudolf. I'm asking him, he could overrule that. Can you, sir, give me a couple of more minutes to help things move along here? We have a lot of problems in the country. So I'm a Labour Party supporter and all that stuff, but my questions are going to be based on the facts. Basically, I'm going to be methodical. For those who are not on this platform, on this comment section, and those listening from Nigeria, there are some things that we need to ask you. You are most able to answer these questions, not only because of your eloquence and magniloquence, as a matter of fact, articulacy and all that, and then all the stuff that you laid the foundation for. You're a lawyer, you are an actor, acclaimed actor, and so many things, and a patriot. So please give us 2 or 3 more minutes. For me, 10, I'll begin. I haven't started yet. I'm just trying to, I'm asking for permission to.
So, Dr. Okonkwo, I told him no. I know him. He's one of our most prominent.
No, what I'm saying is, when he's saying 2 minutes, it's only him, isn't it?
Only him. Yeah. Only him.
Yeah, let him. He shouldn't have used the 2 minutes to ask for the 2 minutes. So just go straight.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, let me begin by saying that in Igbo language, we have a proverb that says, "Agwo emeghị nke o ji bụrụ agwọ, ụmụaka chịrị ya hie nkụ," right? It's good to be nice and to be hopeful here, the way you're describing Nigeria. But we have to face reality. There's been no other country where you have this intersection of the 2 traditions, Islamic tradition and the Western tradition. We'll call it Western, what we mean by the jurisprudence, anthropology, and all kinds of things, right? So nobody else has figured it out. In India, with Pakistan, they had a problem. They had to divide, and then India has run off to the races. So it's tantamount to saying to us, now I speak to you as a Biafran, right? As a Nigerian, as a Biafran. You cannot say to Israel, okay, hey, look, get along with Hamas, make a bigger country. It's almost, you cannot do it. Now, part of the problem, obviously, is from even though the Jews, they're no saints, but the problem is from the Islamic tradition. We have an Islamic problem in our country. It's not culture to say it. But when you come here as a lawyer, you know that we have the right to self-determination. Now, it's better if we're a unit. Even Africa as a whole should be one unit, integrate. Okay? But it's not easy to do. But we reserve the right for self-determination, according to the UN Charter and so many other. Even it's a right given to us by God himself. So for 64 years, we're in a country where we're marginalized, our people are getting killed. And their people are getting killed, which also concerns us, Northerners. A couple of days ago, we had almost 500. They go to secondary schools and they load up girls. But more maddening is that we had an election in 2023 that started off all the way back. In 2022, we had a law, electoral act, that everybody worked hard to get this here. Now, I want to rush through this as a preamble so that then when I ask you the question, we'll be satisfied with it. I'm the last panelist here. So what I'm saying to you is that when you look at the election with the Electoral Act, you look at the clause 38 of INEC's own publication, showing how it's supposed to be done. You're supposed to upload it from that unit, from the polling unit right there, so that at least it will be credible, it will be live. I don't think we have to pass through that. In essence, we have to go back to that. You the same actors with Mahmoud as INEC, and you've been quite hostile towards INEC here, calling it the way it is. You're unhappy with it. But then what's supposed to change? If we have another election, as we did in Imo State, it's even worse. So I'm saying that it's futility, fruitless, pointless, worthless, ineffectual, go into another election knowing that the same thing is going to happen. It's credulous. It will be gullible, right? Dupeable. You'll be duped if you go to another election knowing that the same actors are going to do the same thing. So now with your eloquence, and of course, we know that Peter Obi is the best human being that Africa has produced, right? He's not a panacea. That's right. He's not the solution to everything, but he's better than Obama, for example. He's better than Nelson Mandela, and I've said it. Not because he's an Igbo man. This is a man who's humble. If I was given a couple of minutes, what I wanted to clear up, there are some things that are holding some people from all of us saying, okay, we got one good one here. Let's nurture it. Let's help him. I was going to ask you yes or no questions. As a lawyer, there are rumors about Peter Obi opening some accounts, depositing state funds here and there. I don't think it amounts to a hell of beans, because even looked in the scope, in that aperture of those critics, right? Even if he did those things, he's still far better than the rest of them. Like you said before, that your best, quote unquote, your worst is still better than the rest. So now, if Rudolf will give me a minute, I want to ask him yes or no questions on that. So those will be cleared up for those who really mean well, right? Maybe they say, okay, look, why should he deposit money here and there? I wanted to know, does Peter have any criminal records? Does he have clear up? Before I then ask my main question. Now, Rudolf, it will be unfair, right? If it be unfair, we will have a man of this caliber here, and me. By the way, I'm nothing to sneeze at either, right? But I'm here to ask him a question. It's going to make for fascinating television for him to answer it. Don't be in a hurry right now. You let John Abba go on, and he had nothing to say. Let me just ask the question. Then he'll end it for us, and okay, my wait would have been water. Okay. So what I'm saying, with your facility, your persuasiveness, right, your diction, and everything that we all know. So with all that, I asked you a question about our right to self-determination as a Biafran, right? If you could make miracle happen, fine. But if they turned off that IREV, what the hell they call that machine they used in that election, right? If they turned it off with impunity, nothing happened. No, we have the right, God-given right, not UN even. We have that right from UN, but we have God-given right to succeed and actually defeat this country, this Nigeria. We tried it before. It didn't work because some actors, some allies who have not opened their eyes, they're too stupid to come and apologize and admit it, right? The Yorubas, the even South, right? They were wrong. All right. They should all fight with us to go after them. So my question to you is that without being afraid, right? Work, I conclude with this. The element of work is force times time. That's W equal to F times S. There has to be a displacement. There has to be force. If we do not displace these people, Muslims in the north, how are we supposed to go the same cycle that we've gone for 64 years? Now, I like you. I like what your party is doing. I like your confidence. But don't tell me to go through this again only to end up what they normally do, which is what they're gonna do.
All right.
How do you resolve that?
Thank you, please.
And thank you for being here. You guys, you do what you have to do. If they don't respect you, then we're gonna have to bring democracy down there by force to take it back. That's my pledge to you. Thank you.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir.
I talked about virus and bacteria, and knocking them out is the best solution to treat an organism. Whoever tells you that Igbo people are free from the virus and bacteria of what is happening in Nigeria is telling you a lie. Now, when Peter Obi came in the first time to become governor, his election was rigged. Who rigged the election? Because somebody came out openly to say, I want to confess I was the one who rigged the election. It wasn't a Yoruba man, it wasn't a Northerner. Good. They went to courts. The people that gave him judgment in all the courts he went to, they were not Igbo men. So you see, you have to analyze the problem. The problem we have in Nigeria is not outside Igbo Yoruba, it's the elite class of all tribes and all religion. When you get to Israel, the analogy you made, there are more Christians in Palestine than there are in Israel. You have Arab Israelis who are Israelis. The problem is that you have an organization that is engrossed in their theological belief that they own the Palestinian land and that the Jews do not have the right to exist. These are two different things. If you have an election in Palestinian land, majority of the people will say they don't agree with that philosophy. But when people use the force of arm and take over power, they become the alter ego of the organization. So please, I have told you, if you are somebody, the kind of administration you should be looking for is the one that should suit your nature and your nurture. We are traders, we are travelers. Do you know that what the white Jews are fighting for till today, till tomorrow, is land? If we, as traders and travelers, have Nigeria, we will not have any need to fight for land. Even if you are the greatest inventor, you will need space, you will need land. If Nigeria is ailing, the Igbo man will not be the first to suffer it because we have the street and we eat off it. We have the technology and we eat off it. What I'm saying is that for the sake of the black man, for the sake of the African man, the Igbo man is needed in Nigeria. I maintain it and I'm saying it. The best gift God has given to Nigeria is the Igbo man. And the best land God has given to the Igbo man is Nigeria. So both of them are symbiotic. I've analyzed these things and I can tell you that if I can extricate Igbo people completely from the Malays of Nigeria, then it will start making sense that if we go back to our own as country, such virus or bacteria would all come to us. It is not true. We are also part of the problem of Nigeria. And being honest,
I disagree with you, but I don't have a way to do that. I would like to have a debate with you.
I have told you, using Peter Obi, using when he contested to be a governor, his election was rigged. And somebody came out openly to take responsibility for the rigging. And that person is an Igbo man.
Who is it?
Oh, you don't know?
No, don't let him answer. Who is it? Who did it?
No.
Who said that he rigged it?
Yes. If you don't know, then that means I now understand why you are thinking that all the problems that Igbo people are facing in Nigeria are imposed on them by non-Igbo. So I'll give it as an assignment to you to figure it out. So that's by the way. Now, what I am saying is that what we and every Nigerian should be fighting for is a land free of corruption, a land of equity. Okay, now, if I am telling you the gospel truth, if the person leading us now had been a northerner, everybody from the south will be saying it's because south has not been given a chance to govern. I am telling you, people thought that when the south, is given a chance to govern Nigeria, it will be El Dorado. In this fourth republic, the south has governed more than the north. Obasanjo governed for 8 years. Goodluck Jonathan governed for almost 6 years. So calculate. Tinubu is governing now. Yaradua governed for 2 years plus. Then Buhari governed for 8 years. Calculate. A man from South has.
Can I ask you a question on that point you're just making right now? Because that's what I mean.
Let me land. Good. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there are people in Igbo land that if they come out to contest for the presidency, I will vote against them. Good. If you go back to your Biafra, I am telling you that that in itself is not a guarantee you would have the country of your dream. I do not support, I have said it before, shrinking myself when I can get what I want in a larger space, because I have analyzed it, and the problem of Igbo in Nigeria is not because they are Igbo. In other words, nobody is maltreating you now because you are Igbo. Why am I saying that?
I disagree with you on that too. So when do I get a chance? I have to have a chance to.
No. Let me finish. What I'm saying. I have given you an example. I made a success out of Nollywood. I am still Igbo. If it is only the Igbos that patronized me, I wouldn't be a success. In the last African Cup of Nations Cup that we went to compete on, there might be up to 12 Igbos in that lineup. So what you are saying, that is marginalization in a democracy, is lack of unity amongst you. And I, being a member of the 2023 campaign team, the first problem we had was the elites of Igbo land. They were even telling Igbo that if you vote for Obi, it will be a waste, that they will waste their vote. Igbo elites, right from his own governor. So seeing all these things, how would you convince me that a majority tribe is not doing well politically in Nigeria and you want to point accusing figure on others? No. We have what it takes, if we have unity amongst ourselves, to achieve whatever political thing we need in Nigeria. When you talk about spread, it is only Igbo people as a tribe that can have the spread to influence election in every state in this country. So if you are not united, sorry, you cannot blame other people. That lack of unity will follow you back to whatever smaller country you want to build and still ruin it. So me,
all right, please allow me in here a little bit.
Hold on, sir. I do not have extra time because I need to run.
That's what I'm saying. Be conservative. Give me a little.
No. Answer, no.
Let me respond to what you just said, because
no. It's not
Rudolf, stop meeting me now.
Yes. What I am saying as a way to conclude is that my own opinion is that we are better off in a united Nigeria based on equity, justice, and fairness. If Nigeria is going to have any problem, it will not be and should not be Ndi Igbo that should be in the forefront of saying to your tents. So, but as far as I'm concerned, I prefer a united Nigeria based on equity, fairness, and justice.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kenneth Okonkwo. You're wonderful. You did very well. You stayed more than an hour extra or two even. But thank you so much. We appreciate you. And hopefully in no long distant time, you'll come back and help us understand what's going on in the country. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we do feedback on what we had to do. So,
yeah, I have to say I respect the last statement he made. It was excellent, I must say.